We must strike against the Dragon Reborn, and quickly. This man cannot be allowed to gain any more strength than he already has.
Yeah, or lose any more limbs, right? That is right. What's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And this is the Nerdy.
The Wordy.
The book club.
We don't always do that.
I know, but you're not like, we are, it's the start of the show and you're not here with me. Do we need to do some like zip, zap, zop? Do we need to like...
No, I'm good.
We can start the day with improv exercises. Get on the same page.
Yeah, we'll go back to theater school. That sounds like fun.
My mother made me mash my M&Ms.
That's not... What the fuck?
My mother made me mash my M&Ms.
No.
My mother made me mash my Yeah, it is.
That is not... No.
100%.
My mother made me mash my M&Ms is the tune for that one.
No.
Yeah.
This is the book club where we talk about The Wheel of Time, a book series that got good recently. It
got good, guys. Guys, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. It's it's a hell of a good time.
Yeah. You know what I realized?
What?
I don't have my iPad. It's got all my screen caps.
Oh. Well, you should probably go get that.
Damn it.
What are you doing? You're close, you know?
Didn't nail it.
No, you tried though. The effort was there.
I'm gonna be so... Will you close that door?
And I appreciate it. Nah, it's fine.
All right. What's up, everybody? Do we have housekeeping for this morning? This is chapters 24 through 35 of The Gathering Storm, a novel. My hands really hurt.
Why?
Our banister is sharp, and I grabbed it to turn quickly. And do you see the red line?
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. We'll work on your cardio. It's fine.
Cheese and Christ. My cardio is fine. It's more my hand hurts. Yes, this is the Gathering Storm. We're off to a great start at this book club.
It's very
really professional.
Professional, guys. I gotta make my professional beanie. At this point, like, I just need it to happen.
I'm not gonna lie. As much as I do love this book series, I don't care today about this.
About what? The book?
Yeah, guys, Tears of the Kingdom came out. We have a new Legend of Zelda game.
Oh my God, shut the fuck up.
And I'm going to be streaming that later today.
I'll talk about the book then. Jesus Christ.
Did you like this section, Clarus?
I fucking loved it. I've loved this whole book so far.
Alec, thank you for joining the Nards.
Table do not like single mothers.
Also, Kevin, Lord of the Slimes, thank you for joining the Nards. Do you not like single mothers? That is the question of the day.
If you don't get that reference, you have to watch our Attack on Titan live action reaction. Yeah. Because that was the single greatest and worst thing I think I've ever put in front of my eyeballs. Mm-hmm. Do you like single mothers?
No. Nah, not really. I don't want kids in my life, right? So for me, like, power to you. I think being a single mother is an incredibly hard, but also like incredible thing to accomplish.
But you don't have to marry them. You know, we can have fun.
We're not getting into that. Clarus, is there any housekeeping we need to talk about before we get into the book this week? There kind of isn't. We had a boring week.
We had a boring week.
We were kind of sick and like we were still trying to like get back to a hundo P.
Yeah,
as Hank Green says.
Yeah, is that a Hank Green thing? I swear I heard that in like high school.
It's a joke from their podcast, Dear Hank and John, where Hank Green started to say hundo P, and John Green was like, "You have to stop."
Oh, gotcha.
You can't,
in this economy.
No, it was more like you're going to destroy our business if you start behaving like a youth like this. It was very funny.
Destroy our business.
Comedically. It was good shit. It was a good podcast.
Gotcha.
Dear Hank and John. I recommend it.
Yeah.
Not a spawn.
We're gonna keep plugging the D&D relay. Keep hyping y'all up for that. Mm-hmm. That is fast approaching.
Too fast. Too fast, too furious.
But yeah, we're really excited for that. We have all of our players confirmed.
Yeah, Jillian Boxglove joined the team. We're full up on players. We still need a stage manager, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah, that's fine. We're working on our characters. It's gonna be a hell of a time. But yeah, there's not, I don't think, really housekeeping this week other than you're streaming later Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, Sean makes a good point here. Zelda is kind of Wheel of Time like with its reincarnation of Link and Zelda, and also Ganon getting sealed away and returning in a cycle. Well, did Robert Jordan steal the Wheel of Time from Nintendo?
Sure, yeah.
Because this is a good point. Link sometimes has really powerful magic stuff. He loses his hand in Tears of the Kingdom. Did Robert Jordan steal from Zelda?
Wait, he loses his hand?
Yeah, he has like a...
That's the new game. You can't spoil that for people.
It's not a spoiler. He has a new arm in every trailer, in every photo of the game. He has a mechanical... Oh, like... If that's a spoiler, don't look at the cover art of the game. I don't know what to tell you. He has a mechanical arm.
Fair enough.
It glows bright green, like...
Fair enough. Tribby, thank you so much for the super chat. Hey, Nerdy, it's my birthday. Going to Calgary for a couple days. Any suggestions? Already getting that malt ice cream. Yes, made by Marcus.
Made by Marcus on 16th Avenue. And a couple of other places, but the one on 16th is really the spot, if you will. Can't
watch live, but if you sing me happy birthday, I'll love you forever. You know, we got a super chat.
All right. Thank you for the super chat. Clarus.
Am I picking the...
You're singing.
Oh, you're gonna not come in with the harmony?
I was gonna harmonize.
All right, cool.
Yeah, but you have to pick a good key.
No.
I will judge... guys, I am going to be judging my wife and the future of our relationship based on what key she chooses.
Problem is, I don't know what's a good key for you, so...
All right.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Trippy. Happy birthday to you. Boom! Birthday super chat. Done.
That's not a bad key. Was it a little low for you?
No, that's good.
All right.
I like it low.
I
like it
low.
Low.
God, wow, that's a throwback.
Wow. Do you remember being in middle school and like grinding to apple bottom jeans at like 12 and being like, we're so hot and cool?
Yeah. And I looked like I did.
Oh my God.
I was not hot or cool. Oh, man.
Me and Tamara.
Good times. Oh, my God.
Tamara, if you're out there, I hope you're doing well. I'm sorry everyone was so mean to you for going to that dance with me.
I'm so sorry that everyone was mean to Tamara for going to the dance with you.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, I think we've spent allotted time.
This has been the worst. This has been the most, like, hangout stream and not podcast we've ever done for the book club.
What do you guys think? Do you like it? I think it's fun.
With the fur, the whole club was looking at Rand. This is the Wheel of Time. Mm-hmm. It's a book, and it starts on chapter 24. I mean, it doesn't actually start on chapter 24.
Just this week. This week. Yeah,
but this week it starts on chapter 24. A new commitment. Mm-hmm. The new commitment being Gawyn is committing himself to Egwene, which isn't a new commitment.
Yeah, he definitely feels like he was committed to her. He just had no idea where the fuck anybody was because he wasn't bothering to get any information about the world around him. So, kudos to Gawyn for taking his head out of his ass.
Oh, before we talk about it, how did you feel about the full week?
The full week?
Yeah, the full week of reading. How did you like this section?
I loved it.
Yeah?
There was so much in this to love. This is the first time in a while that I've gotten choked up a little bit reading. And I don't generally reading, especially. I tend to not because it just kind of I go so fast.
Yeah.
But I got a little choked up this week. So I'm fully on board. I love the Witcher side questing that's happening.
Yes.
I know that sounds like a joke, but I actually think it's kind of cool.
Well, and it finally gives Matt something to do on the road, which was nice.
Yeah.
Other than just be on the road.
Yeah.
It doesn't fully connect to his plot moving forward, but it does allow for him to feel like he's actually in a book.
Yep.
And not just on the side of the road forever.
Yeah, he's like the fucking Muppets, moving right along.
Yeah.
All right, hurry the fuck up, please.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think this week definitely had some weaknesses in how many point of views there were, and in the fact that
Every time I was getting invested, it changed.
Yeah.
Which was my problem with, like, George R. R. Martin stuff, and I was feeling that a teeny little bit.
But also, like, I understand. I've heard the reasons why it is laid out the way that it is, but the timeline nonsense this week was bad.
It was very strange.
It was straight up if chat hadn't prepared me for the fact that the timelines are in a little bit of disarray in this novel, this whole week I would have been like, what was Brandon Sanderson on? Because it's not Robert Jordan, I wouldn't have viewed it as intentional.
Yeah.
I would have been reading this, if I didn't have anyone to talk to about it, I would have been reading this going, oh, Brandon Sanderson has lost the fucking plot. Like, this guy doesn't know where characters are. And I get that, like, because the reasoning that I've been told is that this book and Towers of Midnight were going to be one book.
Yeah.
And so when they split it into two, rather than have all of the climaxes at the end of the one book, at the end of Towers of Midnight, some of the climaxes were moved to the end of Gathering Storm to break it up and have this feel more like a book, so that we don't run into the Slog 2.0, right? This is what happened in the Slog.
Yeah.
The problem is that it is never established when anything is happening. Mm-hmm. And so it is just so random. Mm-hmm. And, like, characters are with other characters, and then we cut to their POV, and that Gilad is not with Perrin. And you're like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah, that was a bit weird. I was like, wait, what the fuck?
I'm glad that I was prepped for it so that it didn't throw me off too much.
Yeah.
But I also think that it is a weakness of the book that I know if I hadn't been prepped for it, I would have found this frustrating.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
I think that's totally fair. I didn't really find it frustrating. Like, to be honest, I didn't notice it. It didn't grate on me in any way. I found it a bit confusing, but it didn't have any kind of negative impact on my experience of the reading. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
Rand is just clearly so far ahead of everyone else. And that is weird because he's the main plot.
Yeah. No, and I totally feel you. Like, I get it.
That it makes me nervous because I'm like, how long are we in these side quests for if they're not with the main plot of the books? It makes, like, what is going on with Matt and the, like, getting down the road kind of stuff more concerning to me because I'm like, oh my God, wait, months in the future, he is still not with Rand.
Yeah.
That's it.
Is it months?
It has to be at least
There's no
weeks.
way. No, I think, like, in 3 months, the fucking last battle is happening, so it can't be months. The fuck is that?
I have no idea.
Is that, like, an industrial strength lawnmower? Oh my God, the lighting in the camera just went so wild.
I have no idea.
Whatever.
No idea. Yeah, no, it's got, I don't know. It's got to be some period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is definitely a period of time that is ambiguous.
So Gawyn rides up to Gareth Bryne's tent, and he can't get in because the guy there's like, no, we're not just letting you go talk to fucking Gareth Bryne, dude.
So he beats him up.
And so he beats the shit out of 4 people.
Yeah.
And he's like, this was faster. And I'm like,
I'm not gonna lie, I like Gawyn a little bit less. I
just was kind of like, dude, I have a couple of problems with it.
Uh-huh.
One, this camp should be way more on edge about men coming into their camp.
Why? They perfectly explain why it doesn't matter.
Fucking no. This is not a camp of people that has not that is just sitting there waiting for shit to happen. This is a camp that recently was infiltrated.
I'm sorry, you think that the Aes Sedai told Gareth Bryne that they were infiltrated? Yes. I do not. There's no fucking way. The Aes Sedai don't tell him shit.
Hey, if Halima shows up, you need to arrest her.
A woman? Like, the most beautiful woman you've ever seen? Like...
I'm sorry, you think that the Aes Sedai...
I don't think they told Gareth Bryne anything. Maybe Swan did, but, like, I don't think that the
That's still the Aes Sedai.
Sure, I guess. But I just mean, like, why would they stop recruits from coming in when Halima is a woman?
I'm not saying stop him from coming in. I'm saying don't let him get to the perimeter of the fucking command tent.
But he's, like, one guy.
Yeah. And people in this world can fucking channel. This isn't fucking... He's not fucking like some random dude. This is a world where they have been infiltrated recently. As recently as, like, a week ago. And we know that the Aes Sedai in the White Tower can fucking teleport now. These people should be on edge. They should be looking out for problems in every direction and not letting you get to the officer at the edge of the tent. And everyone is so chill. He knocks
didn't get
out.
To Gareth Bryan. He like went and found like the person in charge who would like be there to like accept new recruits.
No, he got to the outside of Gareth Bryan's tent. He walked up to the outside of... Yes, he did.
What? No.
He went to the command pavilion.
I mean, he found, like, what he assumed was the command pavilion of that thing. But remember, it explains that Gareth Bryan divvies up work to his officers as opposed to lording over everything. So that he probably got to whoever, like, the main tent that was in that section of the army.
That Gareth Bryan just happened to be inside of.
Well, no, it took him a few minutes to get there.
No, he's inside that tent. He
You
goes
sure?
to the command pavilion, and Gareth Bryan comes out of the command pavilion almost immediately. That's just the sequence of events.
No, go and tell your general that this guy felled a bunch of people.
Yeah, in the building that's directly in front of him.
It's not that, it's not that close, though. It says eventually a small group of men strode out. So
of the tent in front of him.
But not directly in front of it. I don't know.
My point is that these people should be on edge. They are not. And 4 people could have died because of it. If Gawyn could channel, you're dead.
So how do they accept new recruits then?
You don't let them get to the command pavilion. I'm not saying you don't let people near the camp. I'm saying that he walks through the camp for like 40 minutes and no one asks him a question. People try and sell him shit, but no one is like, hey, there are Ashaman and there's also multiple Forsaken who are men who are very dangerous and can channel. This guy looks kind of rich. Maybe someone should, like, I don't know, talk to him. The Salad Barbarians deserve to get wiped out if this is their level of security.
I don't think it's that weird.
If it was Demandred, it's fucking over.
But why would Demandred go, like, hurt Gareth Bryan? Gareth Bryan is, like, fucking, like, D tier on the list of priorities.
Do fucking anything in this world?
That's a good question. I can't tell you that.
They are, like... it just, all of it was just... Like, the explanation is fine. I get that Gareth Bryan, or I get that Gawyn wanted it to be faster. And he's like, I can't go through the bureaucracy. But I'm like, dude, they should have put 12 arrows in him. When as soon as...
shoot a man walking into camp?
He knocks out 4 officers. He didn't just walk into camp. He pulls his sword at the perimeter of the fucking command tent and attacks 4 people and wins. He crushes a man's helmet against his skull.
He doesn't, like, seriously injure any of them.
What the fuck are you talking about? If you walk into an army base and you beat the shit out of 4 people, the people around you are going to shoot you. That's how life works.
Why would anyone just have their bows on them?
They literally have their bows on them. In the book. They just don't shoot him. They let him do it.
I mean, like, the guy's not, like, killing them.
Why?
He's like, I want to talk to somebody. I've seen this in movies
is insane.
all the
time. I feel like I'm losing my mind. You cannot walk into a military base and knock out 4 people, and people just be like, well, we're okay.
I buy it. I wouldn't fucking touch him.
I don't know. I did not like this moment. I thought it was very silly, and it made Gareth Bryan look like a bad commander.
Or maybe the officer he put in charge.
Oh, sure. Maybe it's the officer he put in charge, but it's terrible security. It only works out because Gawyn is like, I know he's basically my dad.
Yeah.
This was just so plot convenient, and like, it was like, look at how cool Gawyn is for beating up these 4 people for doing their job.
But it doesn't make him look cool. Gareth Bryan is like, you're a fucking idiot.
No, but
and Gawyn's like, oh yeah, you know what, you might be right.
But the book thinks that it does.
What?
The book writes it as if he's like doing this really cool thing, right?
In the moment, because it's from Gawyn's perspective.
100%, yeah.
And then Gareth is like, you're a fucking idiot, and he's like,
but he still gets away with it. Like, it still works.
Sure.
The book allows for it to work.
Yeah.
Right? And I just think that by allowing for it to work, it comes across as silly to me. This was a silly moment to me.
All right. I didn't feel like that.
James said, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you so much for the super chat.
Made it live today. Kat Swain is the best. Just you wait, nerdy. Excited to watch it live, man. I love you guys. Thank you. You always make me giggle.
Thank you. Cheers to that.
And like, look, it's well written. It's just like, I was just kind of reading it like, dude, like, what the fuck are you thinking? You are the enemy general.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't feel like it made Gawyn look cool. It didn't feel silly to me. It felt like the Gawyn was. It felt like the book was like framing Gawyn as like still a child who hasn't matured the same way that like Elaine has, for instance.
I would agree with you if the other soldiers in the pavilion didn't treat him like he was a child. None of the human beings in this scene react like adult human beings.
I don't agree with that. I think there are some things that about it that are silly, but like they're just gonna like murder this dude for like people brawl in soldier camps all the time. Like people fight. It's like
an enemy combatant does not ride into a soldier's camp and brawl with the soldiers there all the time. That does not happen all the time. I
just mean like a fight breaks out and someone's first instinct isn't going to be to shoot him with a bow.
Yes, it is. If someone rides into your camp and starts attacking your officers at the edge of the command tent, that is going to...
With non-lethal force, though?
Nobody,
I don't know.
Nobody knows what non-lethal... You don't know it's non-lethal until it's over. Until you can check the bodies, you don't know that that's non-lethal. That man is... His skull is cracked on the ground. He's unconscious, and he needs magic to heal him.
Well, it'll help,
like,
yeah.
You can be like, oh, in the hindsight, you can call it non-lethal. In the moment, you can't be like, oh, no, he's using non-lethal force. Let's let him near our general.
But, like, they don't know who he is. Like, he, like, could be part of the army.
Which is why.
No, but he could be part of the army. You think they know every thousands of...
He literally rode up.
Yeah.
And told them who he was.
Yeah, but he was riding for, like, an hour. I'm saying the people around who didn't hear the conversation aren't going to shoot some guy. They don't know if he's one of their own. They don't know if it's, like, just a tiff. Like, I don't know.
I think that,
I don't find it that unbelievable.
I would find it more believable if they weren't currently in a state of tense danger. But these are people who are waiting to be attacked. Like
I mean, they're in the middle of their own camp. They're not, like, out on a raid.
No, the Aes Sedai of the White Tower just got traveling. Gareth Bryan finds out that the Aes Sedai of the White Tower just got traveling and that they could be attacked at any time, which was absolutely fucking dire to Swan. And so some dude walks in and knocks out 4 of your captains at the edge of your general's tent. Yes, these people should be so tense and they are so fucking casual about it. And that's what is unbelievable to me. Is that
I think that they work for Gareth Bryan. Like, I don't think Gareth Bryan is going to be like, everyone shaking your boots because the Aes Sedai have traveling. Like, I feel like that would be, like, the wrong thing to do.
Then all of your men are dead. No. If you think that the enemy can attack you at any time from any direction, so don't tell them to be
No, you tell them that there's,
edge.
Like, possible threats, but, like, letting them know that they have traveling.
They should be at high alert all the time right now. This camp should be locked fucking down. It has been infiltrated multiple times. The enemy can surround them at any time. It is preposterous that they would be this casual, given the situation that they're in.
No, I didn't feel that way.
The guy's like, go talk to this motherfucker. And he's like, no, I'm here to talk to Brian. He's like, no, you gotta go. If you're gonna recruit in the army, he's like, I'm not here to recruit in the army. First of all, the officer's an idiot. But, like...
Well, yeah. And Gareth is like, anytime someone, like, says that...
People are like, you have to move on from this. I feel like I can't, because I don't understand your point of view on this.
I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah. Let's just move on. It doesn't matter. This was dumb.
Yeah, I don't think it was as silly as, like, you feel that it is, but, like, I do understand that it was definitely a little bit convenient.
Okay.
But I do also like how Gareth treats Gawyn afterwards.
Yeah, their conversations are great.
Yeah.
Their relationship is fantastic.
Yeah.
It is just the getting them together that I thought was, like, goofy.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's funny. There's, like, a lot of people comment on her videos that are like, Clarice just sits there and agrees with everything Nerdy says. And I'm like, you clearly have not ever watched book club.
We argue a lot. Healthily. I'm not mad at you.
No. I just find it funny, like, because I'm like, all right, well, yeah, we interpreted this, like, piece of a book differently. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
People are weird. YouTube commenters. Wild.
God, YouTube.
Sin Eater says
you guys,
your wife is absolutely correct. She's not.
Well, no, there are people who like have agreed with both of our points, and I think that's why it's an interesting conversation because there's no like correct answer, right? That correct factually would be like Han shot first or whatever, but that's an aside. He also like uses his like horse as a shield for arrows just in case, which is like wow, that's pretty brutal.
That makes sense to me.
No, that makes sense, but I was like, oh my god, rude.
I guess I just think that, like, I want the Salad Barbarians to seem competent. And this as a...
Not really.
No, what I'm saying is I want
them to be,
they're fucking idiots. Ramon and Elaine are fucking morons. Gawyn is a fucking idiot. Siwan is maybe competent.
I don't know, Elaine actually, like, her plan has some smarts behind it. I hate her.
Her plan has some smarts behind it, but her plan to like have power while Gawyn's gone has smarts in it.
Yeah.
She's an idiot. Like the Salad Barbarians are all morons. And it's because they can't figure fucking anything out for themselves. Mm-hmm. They have to be told literally every single beat of anything to understand anything that is going on.
Yeah.
And we keep having these characters pop up to explain to them the basic facts of what is going on in their lives. Mm-hmm. And they're supposed to be these brilliant 100-year-old Aes Sedai women who are capable of all of these things.
Yeah.
And they can't even lock down their camp when they are literally in the most danger they've ever been in the entire time since they left the White Tower. This is the highest tense moment they've ever had.
Yeah.
And their camp is a open sieve.
Oh yeah,
you know what I
mean? There's definitely some weaknesses there for sure.
1,000%,
for sure.
And so this was just another moment where I was like, oh, like I'm amazed Aleda hasn't won. These fucking
Aleda's
people
also
are idiots.
a fucking idiot. So it's like it's like well, you know. Like Aleda is dumb in a lot of ways and so fucking arrogant that it makes her stupider. And I cannot wait. So she just gets, like, punched in the face.
Oh, 100%.
There's not many characters like that, but I'm like, I'm ready for it. Arazu, thank you for 5
Arazu, thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
Let's fucking go. Throw some nargs in the chat.
Gareth and Gawyn have a pretty great conversation. They argue for a couple of seconds. Mm-hmm. And Gawyn eventually concedes that he's being an idiot. But Gareth doesn't concede that maybe he needs better security.
I mean...
Because people have magic.
Yeah, it's really hard to guard against magic when, like, the Aes Sedai don't work with you. Like, I really feel like the biggest flaw is that Gareth isn't able to work with the Aes Sedai to create, like, magical perimeters of some sort. Like, I think
mm-hmm.
the Aes Sedai... fuck them.
It's almost like the Aes Sedai can resonate side in and find out if... there are people in their camp that can use it.
Yeah.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. Honestly, I've thought the Saladar people have been idiots since Logain got away.
There's a lot of dumb stuff, but it also, like, part of it is helped by, like, Halima being there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Halima is there to fuck shit up, and she does. She's successful, and it's definitely to their detriment.
Oh, for sure. But, like, the fact that, they never figured... Like, the way they figured out Halima was way too late.
They had no fucking clue. They had to have someone come in and tell them to put the pieces
fact
together.
that Shariam has pulled this off is actual insanity.
Yeah, okay, so...
Let's hold it. Let's hold it.
Okay.
We need to focus. We are not focused today. Can we play Zip?
No, I'm having fun.
Zap. Fuck
Bobbity bop bop bop.
What the fuck is bobbity bop bop?
You've never played. That's the best one. So there's a circle and there's a bunch of people around.
No, we need to focus. We need to focus on Wheel of Time. What is happening?
Okay.
Stop it. Focus.
Bobbity bop bop bop.
Oh my god, we need to get out of this chapter.
Basically, Gawyn doesn't say he's in love with Egwene, but like, Gareth, he's a smart dude. I think he gets it. And then he's like, hey, so like, why aren't you helping Elaine and Caemlyn?
You think he gets it? He fucking knows.
Yeah.
He knew before Gawyn showed up.
Yeah.
He looked at Gawyn and went, that boy wants to fuck Gawyn.
I mean, fair. Apparently Egwene's really fucking hot, so who doesn't? But, they talk about Elaine, and yeah, Gareth is like, yeah, your sister, why the fuck aren't you there? And he's like, wait, my sister? Huh. I didn't realize, like, I thought she maybe was dead or with you guys or I don't fucking know. And I'm like, oh man, you have no information. And I feel so bad for you because you are like operating with like 30% capacity here because you have no fucking information about the world around you.
Yeah, as much as I give the Salad Barbarians shit for being the dumbest, Gawyn's also an idiot. Like, send a fucking man dressed as a peddler to go get some information out of the fucking camp. It's not that hard. Like, Gawyn should have more. Gawyn's raids being as successful they are, given how terrible he is at collecting information, is kind of impressive.
Yeah. Although I have to say, I said this earlier, and I think, honestly, that parts of this still ring true for me, which is like, you know, maybe not the greatest reflection, but like I relate to Gawyn in so many ways. Especially,
in what ways?
Well,
in that, are you like the worst of your siblings?
I don't know. You tell me.
You're not.
I relate to Gawyn, and this is a little bit later. Sorry to jump ahead a little bit, but the inability to like make decisions and like and decide what's important. Like Gawyn has just been waffling this whole time and waiting for somebody to like give him information or tell him what to do without taking the initiative to find things out for himself and move forward from there.
Okay, but Gawyn is having a hard time choosing between the White Tower and like the woman he loves and his duty to his sister, and you have a hard time choosing between what restaurant we're going to eat at. Like those aren't the same. I understand that they're both indecisiveness, but like your indecisiveness over like what shirt you're going to wear that day is not quite the same as what Gawyn is going through.
No, but I mean, okay, take it on a bigger scale. We're like, do we move to LA or do we move to Atlanta? Like, do we make big life decisions that will affect the like our lives for the rest of them? Like, you know, like there's like big things and I get uncomfortable with big decisions like that because I feel like, oh, I might be wrong or I may not have all the information or maybe I don't understand the situation as much. And I just can understand Gawyn's, like, his point of view in these moments. Mm-hmm. And that's why I love the conversation that Gareth Bryan has with him. Yeah. And even Gareth is like, yeah, no, I made a dumb decision, but, like, I'm here. Yeah.
And then Gareth is like, hey, fuckface, don't be mad at Rand. He didn't kill your mom. Your mom sucked. Like, at the end there, your mom was the worst. Like, the worst ever. She was terrible. And this isn't just because I was a spurned lover. I promise. I'm more mature than that. Your mom fucking sucked. And Gawyn is like, hey, don't you fucking talk about my mom like that, you little... I thought they were about to fight. Like, I thought Gareth Bryan was about to be dead.
To be fair, that is really hard to hear about your dead mother. Like, you know.
Like, 1,000%.
I feel bad for him in this situation, but Gareth tries to be as honest as possible and not like soften the blow. Be like, look, I don't think that Rand killed her, but if he did the kingdom a favor, and like that's fucking hard to hear. But I love that. Yeah, I love that Gawyn is like, I'm not going to believe anyone except some random dude on the road who said that Rand killed Morgase. He's definitely the credible one.
I'm just this kind of made me surprised. It made me realize like Egwene and Gareth Bryan never talked about it.
Yeah,
but Egwene knows what happened. She was there. Like, Egwene knows that Morgase was already gone when Rand got to Caemlyn.
Yeah.
And so realizing that that Gareth and Egwene never talked about that is very strange to me. Because they had come kind of close, and it's one of those conversations that I feel like they would have had.
Yeah. Arizu, welcome back to the nerd table. He's waiting for decisions to get easy when they're not. Life has to be easy. Life has been too easy for him before. And I think that that's totally true. Gawyn was born with a very specific destiny and has never had to question like those kinds of things in his life. He's like, I was born for one purpose and I am going to devote my life to that purpose. And he doesn't, you know. I mean, he obviously he thinks that Elaine might be at the camp still. What?
You like your new colors.
I just was trying to fix that one piece of hair. But shut up. Like he thinks that Elaine might be with this camp.
Yeah.
So I can understand. I understand his reasoning for going there.
He just could have found that out by having a little bit of spy work.
Yeah.
And the only reason I bring it up is because every other general in the world is doing it, and Gawyn is the only one who's just relying on what he thinks he knows. Yeah. And it's disappointing, right? Because, like, Gareth has better spies than him. Rodel Iturralde has pretty good spies. Davram Bashir, pretty good spies. All of these other generals that are being pointed to throughout these books. Perrin is spying really well, right?
Yeah.
That all of these other people are using their men to scout and to spy and to gather information, talking to peddlers and things like that. Mm-hmm. Gawyn is the only one who's like the book is trying to tell me that he's doing great with the younglings. And I'm like, but like, how is he pulling this off when he is so bad at gathering information, which is the most important thing in war?
The only thing that his advantage is that he knows Gareth Bryan. And that's what Bryan says.
That's true, yeah.
He's like, oh, this makes sense now. I thought we had a leak, but you just understand my tactics because I literally trained you. But
Embry says they've all had years to set up spies. You don't need years to set up a spy. You put someone in peddler's clothes, they walk into the camp with fucking mutton, they sell a couple of things, ask a couple of questions, and walk out. It's like, it's really not hard to spy on a camp like this.
Gawyn's men are also loyal to the White Tower and not to Gawyn. And he knows that.
So they would still spy for him.
I just mean in terms of, like, getting information, like, the people, like, that information might go to the Aes Sedai first, and, like, he's not allowed to know because Aleida wants him in the dark.
I don't think the chain of command for the younglings is structured that way. I don't think the Aes Sedai there are paying enough attention to the younglings to do that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, there was an Aes Sedai in the road.
Kavath Pendrag says, I used to work at the 5th most important building in the U.S. as an army satcommer. We had top secret info stolen by pen testers. They just walked into our building. It totally happens.
Pen testers.
I'm just saying. Gareth left a couple of lessons off of his fucking youth, is all I'm saying, okay?
Yeah.
And even Gareth Bryan, in his comments, he's like, God, I thought I taught you better than this. He's like, God, you're a fucking idiot.
Well, you know, Gawyn's definitely fallen off the wagon.
On his way in, though, we should mention Gawyn saw an Aes Sedai, and then we go and we find him the Aes Sedai. The Aes Sedai? It was Shamarin.
It's Sean. Sean number 7.
Sean with an M. And I was like, oh shit, can't wait to know what happens with that. That's a like crazy reveal. Shamarin ran away from the White Tower and went like 30 feet.
Yeah, she was like, I couldn't leave this place. It's my home is the only thing familiar to me. So I decided to join the war camp.
I just don't know what the fuck she thought was going to happen. Like, she was going to get found out of it. Like, she's too recognizable.
Well, and that's what the girl said. She was like, I told you this wasn't going to fucking work.
But it worked for like months.
Yeah. Well, probably a few weeks.
No one noticed she was Aes Sedai forever.
Timelines are very weird. It might have been a week or two.
It has to be months.
Oh.
Because there was at least a 1 month time jump in Egwene's storyline.
But when did she leave? I don't remember.
Shamarin left before Egwene got captured.
Okay.
Or right after she got captured. So it's been at least a month that she's been there, and no one's been like, you're fucking Aes Sedai. We can all see your Aes Sedai. Yeah. What are you doing? Why is this Aes Sedai woman doing this shit?
Look, and here's the thing. It's established she's not the brightest, because Aleida's like, you're an accepted, and she's like, yes. I just imagine the hunchback scene.
Yeah.
You are deformed. I am deformed. Like, Shamarin is like, whatever you say. I'm like,
we're 38 minutes in, and we're getting into our second chapter. This is book club. This is the experience you're here for, right? It's just us being chaotic together.
Yeah, this is what you signed up for, right?
Hi, chat. How you doing?
What's up?
Y'all looking sexy today.
Yeah.
Except for those of you who don't look sexy.
You cute.
Because you don't want to. You still look great. But I don't want you to feel like I'm objectifying you.
Right, of course. You are 10 out of 10.
But if you would like to take sexy as a compliment, take it. And if you would like to say you look great as a compliment, take that instead.
Whichever one.
Yeah.
Take your pick.
Or if you have a, kink for degradation, you look like shit. Just terrible. Absolutely miserable.
Wow, that's, you know what? Hey, we gotta include everybody here. I think that's fair.
How dare you look like this today? Who the fuck do you think you are? God. Looking like shit at book club.
All right.
I hope you enjoyed that.
Now this is book clubbing. Cheers.
Look, all I'm saying is some people are uncomfortable. You call them sexy, so I didn't want those people. I have a separate compliment for you.
That's fair. You know what? I think that's very inclusive.
Shariam. is like, thank God fucking Halima's gone so that my punishments stop. Ow! Oh, fuck, they're back! Oh no, another one!
Another one.
When did
DJ Khaled. I'm sorry.
What the fuck
is
wrong with you?
You said another one, and I went.
We do not invoke the words of men who do not go down on women in this house.
He doesn't eat women out?
Have you never seen that clip?
No.
DJ Khaled's like, oh no, my wife has to suck my dick, but I don't eat pussy.
I thought that was Ben Shapiro.
No, it's DJ Khaled. He said it like full chest on a podcast.
Fuck that guy.
And I was like, oh, are you...
Fuck that. That is such a tell. Like, he's just telling on himself. Durber, welcome back for 6 months to the nerd table. That's the one.
The Narg table.
The Narg table.
How you doing? We should have an urn of ashes on our set, and it's Narg's ashes.
Why the fuck would we do that?
It's so funny. Because people would be like, whose ashes are these? And we'd be like, oh, Narg. It's Narg's.
It's Narg.
It's a picture.
We have chat for Narg.
There's nothing actually in it. It would just be an urn like on our mantelpiece, and it just is
No,
Narg's.
It has glitter in it.
People would assume it's our pet. No, we're not keeping an urn of glitter in our house.
Why?
Because that is a disaster waiting to happen. We have too many rugs that I like to keep an urn of glitter on a mantle in our house.
We have a vacuum. It's fine. Anyways.
So Shariam is attacked by a Forsaken?
Masima? Question mark?
Probably Masima. No, Masana.
Masana. That's the other one. Definitely said that with me.
Masima just shows up. The Dark One brought him back to life, boys.
I wouldn't put it past him, to be honest. I fucked up. That one's on me. Masana.
I hate these books. Mm-hmm. I love them so much, but I hate these books.
Yeah, the names are going to be the death of me.
Oh my god. Wait, there's an Attack on Titan musical? What is happening today?
Did not know that. Didn't know that. Okay. God
Y'all, this has been the wildest book club yet.
Masima would be a twist.
Masima would be a wild twist. And if he had the true power now...
Oh, God, yeah. No, I don't know. Maybe it's Masana.
It has to be Masana. It's not Graendal.
Well, it might be...
It's not Semiraj, because she's fucking dead.
No, but it might be like Moghedien working for Moradin. Or Lanfear.
Why would Moghedien be in the White Tower, though?
Because Moradin wants a hand in every pie or whatever.
Yeah, but Masana will work for him.
Yeah.
He's already broken her, right? Using Shadaharan. So I don't know. I have a feeling it's just Masana. I think that sometimes we think these books are going to be more complicated than they actually are. Yeah. And the obvious answer is just the answer.
It's actually a Leda. No.
Wait, yeah.
Masima for the nipples.
Masima for the nipples. That's a shirt.
God damn it.
Masima for the nipples. People are like, what the fuck?
No one's gonna understand that.
So Masana or whoever is like, yo, you need to get me the 19 rings that take you to Teleran Riyadh and the plaques and
of power.
And
and I have one ring to rule them all.
For every one that you don't get me, you lose a finger or a toe. You have 3 days. Bye. And she walks out.
Yeah, that was pretty rude. I mean, fuck her. She's a dark friend, you know. She's a piece of shit.
Yeah, but
you called it. I swear you called this in like book 3 or 4 or something.
I think it was book 2.
Was it book 2?
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel like you called it.
Yeah, because I was like, of course the person who wants to spank little girls is a dark friend. It's a weird fucking thing to do with your life.
Little girls everywhere I turn.
Dark friend.
I can see them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally
What's her name? Miss Hannigan. Miss Hannigan, dark friend. Mm-hmm. I'm drawing the dragon fang on her door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, well, actually I wouldn't, because then the little girls inside would probably be punished as well.
Welcome back to the
I don't want Annie,
table.
Little Annie to... Annie?
What? Annie? There's no Annie in these books.
In Mrs. Hannigan.
Oh, Annie. Yeah,
I don't want Annie to be punished because I call Miss Hannigan a dark friend.
Fair. You know what? Fair. Annie doesn't deserve it.
This is a weird fucking show.
Nah, it's great. People are here for this.
Remember at the beginning of book club when I was like, I don't care about book club today. I just want to play Tears of the Kingdom. And now I'm fully invested in book club because this is the funniest we've ever been. I don't know if it's good.
Peak comedy right here, y'all. Tell your friends.
But Massima walks in was the funniest thing you've ever said.
And that was an accident. Like, I feel like an idiot. But I blame these books. I blame Robert Jordan.
So yeah, she's got to get him. I really loved this just because I love the idea that Shariam was like,
oh, you called it when the gray men attacked the girls in the tower and she covered it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
It all fades away. So the thing I love about this scene is the idea that Shariam became a dark friend.
Yeah.
Joined the Black Aja because she was like, the last battle's not going to happen in my lifetime, so I don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because she probably made that choice around the same time that Swan and Moiraine found out that the last battle was definitely going to happen in their lifetime.
Yeah, I know.
And so I kind of wish this was in New Spring because the irony of pairing Moiraine and Swan finding out that the last battle was imminent and Shariam being like, last battle couldn't possibly happen in my lifetime. I'll go evil.
Not today,
is
Satan.
The funniest irony I think this series has managed to pull off.
Yeah, no, that was great. That was fucking peak.
Especially because Shariam is like their like third friend in a way in that book a little bit. She's like in their group.
Yeah.
And so it's hilarious to me that she could have been like sitting there like the fucking Amerlin is hearing the prophecy upstairs and she's like, yeah, I think I'm going to join the Dark One. There's no way the last battle's coming anytime soon.
Couldn't possibly happen. Torlando. Thank you for that super
Torlando. Here's to one of the best book clubs, Torlando.
Cheers to that.
Enjoying every minute of it. Well done. Thank you for that super chat. Appreciate it.
Let's fucking go. Yeah, so anyways, Shariam, dark friend. We hate her. Fuck her. And then we move over
But she is like the kindest dark friend, which is funny.
Is she?
Yeah, because she doesn't want to be evil. Like, I love the idea that she like took the oaths and is like,
the perks.
I want to be like powerful in the White Tower. I don't actually want to be a dark friend. And I find that hilarious.
All the Aes Sedai do scheming stuff to get ahead. That's totally normal.
It is. Yeah, they're terrible.
I know.
They're fucking awful.
Fucking worse.
We're going to get to a Bayer quote later on in this reading this week that I love so much because of that.
Matthew, thank you so much for that super chat. Off the rails is how we roll. Yeah, hell yeah. We don't have a path that we follow. We just thunder our way through the brush and break everything in our way.
Matthew, appreciate it. We cut over to Egwene. Egwene's in her cell.
Yeah.
One of the Shans. This one is a sitter in the White Tower.
This one is actually Sean.
He's chilling with her, and Egwene is like, yo, you gotta work harder. And Sean's like, I will, Amerlin Seed. And I was like, oh my god, like, Egwene's got these girls by the tits.
Yeah, like
she's got him in a nipple clamp.
God damn it. She's like, even this is not enough to depose Aleda. I'm like, what? Yeah. She fucking beat up the... I thought that was a little fucking crazy.
I hope we get this trial. I want this trial so bad.
Me too. It's definitely one of the more like political things that I want on screen. Mm-hmm. For sure. And I love that Aleda's like, oh no, I named you Darkfriend, and so then I could beat you because...
And everyone's like, no, we were there. We were in the room.
And you can't, it's really hard to prove that an Aes Sedai is a dark friend.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, that's probably not going to stand. And so I hope that it doesn't. Like, I hope Sean, here's the thing. I think that Aleda's trial and the Sanshin conquest are going to happen at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And that Egwene is going to, like, survive it because she's in the dungeon.
Oh, interesting.
Right? Like, she's, like, locked up. She can't do anything.
I think that the Sanshin, this is my prediction. Mm-hmm. I think the Sanshin attack is going to be where Egwene breaks the three oaths. I think Egwene is going to be, I think she's going to see an Adam, and she's going to be like, there's no fucking way I'm getting collared again, and she's going to beat the shit out of the Sanshin.
That actually fits within the three oaths because they're allowed to use violence when the White Tower itself is threatened. Fuck. So... I just want
Egwene to realize the three oaths are fucking stupid, okay? Yeah, that's all I want.
I get that.
Yeah. So we cut to the next chapter. Chapter 26, A Crack in the Stone. I was like, oh, we're going to Tyr. No, it's not that. So.
Not that stone.
Aviendha is dripping water from one bucket to the next with water. No, what did I just say?
She's dripping water from one bucket to the next with water.
With her finger.
Yes.
And Min comes over and is like, hey, you lazy shit.
Do you not have anything better to do? And Aviendha's like, wow.
That line hit like a fucking truck. Wow. I was like, Min, you don't know what you just did.
To be fair, Min doesn't know shit about the Aiel.
I just love that Aviendha was never going to figure this out on her own. And it took Min coming over and like, much like she does with Rand, like just beating the information into his skull.
Yeah.
And Min is the best. You would literally, no one would survive this without her.
Truly.
And
everybody needs Min. Min is the most important character in this fucking series. I'll fight you on it.
And what's funny about it is that I think that the problem with it is that Aviendha didn't really learn her lesson the way that we're going to get to the sentence that makes this whole Aviendha storyline one of my favorite things in this book.
Agreed.
This book. But because it doesn't actually come from Aviendha or the Aiel, but it comes from Aviendha feeling shamed by a wetlander, I feel like it doesn't really get to what Aviendha was actually supposed to learn from this the right way.
Well, and even Aviendha's like, I should probably thank Min, even though she has no idea what she did.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, I get. Look, you can learn a lesson many different ways. And if that comes from an external source, I think that it is still just as important of a lesson. Mm-hmm. But it is funny that they were like, we were starting to think that you were prideful, Aviendha. And she's like, oh, fuck.
But the problem is she still is. Like the funny thing about this is that she stopped doing it because she was being prideful, not because she had learned the lesson of the action.
And here's the thing. I think that the lesson is maybe not taught in the best way.
Oh, I think it's inherently dumb. I also think that
Look,
Aviendha...
Ice and I have dumb stuff. The Aiel also have a bit of dumb stuff.
Yeah. Aviendha sitting there being like, God, I've seen all of the other wise ones go through this too. Because she finally acknowledges that. In this chapter, she finally is like, oh, this seems to happen to everyone who becomes a wise one, which is what I have been saying since this started.
But she doesn't say that. She's like, I've seen other wise ones have punishments similar to this, but I never asked any questions because that's wise one business.
And I get that. But at the same time, just because you don't talk about something doesn't mean that your brain like shuts it out and that you're not able to see a pattern. Yeah. By the fourth or fifth person you see go through it, you would be like, oh, hey, wait a second. There's a pattern.
To be fair, I think that there are less wise ones than maybe I think in my head.
Literally thousands of them.
Sure, but like, for example,
Mm-hmm.
they're all together congregated right now. Like, Aviendha grew up in Cold Rock's Hold, I believe. Like, I wonder how many wise ones are actually part of a single hold. Because it might only be like 50 to... I don't know. And so I do, like, there are, like, 10 or 15 different Aiel factions. So them coming together means those numbers are definitely boosted, 100%. But Aviendha growing up as a Maiden of the Spear, I wonder how many wise ones she actually, like, truly observed or came into contact with on a regular basis. Because that I don't know. And I don't think that that's set up particularly well for us to have an answer to that.
No, and that's fair. I really like this moment because of this quote, though.
Yeah, you wrote down the quote, which was the thing that I also wrote down because I think that this is the moment that makes that ties this together in such a perfect way. You can, if you want to.
But the first quote is that Aviendha is talking with Ayer and Amis, and she's like, "Fuck this shit, I'm a wise one now." And they're like, "Yes, you are. That was what you had to do." And she was like, "That's it. Yep." Bayer goes, I never realized how important our ways were until I studied these Aes Sedai. Those at the bottom simper and beg like hounds and are ignored by those who consider themselves their betters. It is a wonder they achieve anything. Thank you, Brandon Sanderson, for finally pointing out why the Aes Sedai are the worst.
Yeah, sorry, but that's not the best.
This is the best quote, though. Yeah. This is it, right here. Amis snorted. You force us to be very creative. Remember this time you spent and the shame you felt, for it is the shame any Datsang will know should you consign them to their fate, and they cannot escape it simply by demanding release. And in one fucking sentence, I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
This was all worth it.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah.
You giving someone power over other people, especially power that, like, complete, they have to understand what they're enacting on someone, right?
Yeah.
Like, without context, it is so easy to let that go to your head.
Well, and it is kind of the inherent problem with our book club, right? Is like we talk about things in sections. And so people are like, well, but you make this statement about this scene without knowing the full context. And I'm like, that is the nature of what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're talking about it as we go.
Totally.
And future knowledge can change how we feel about past information.
Yeah.
But there seems to be people online who are like, you made this statement after you had only seen this many episodes or read this many chapters. Therefore, you have to feel that way about it forever. And I'm like, no, when I finish the book, all of those feelings can change.
Yeah, totally.
Like, retroactively, the end of a book can make the whole book brilliant, right? Mm-hmm. But the nature of our show is that we talk about things in chunks. And this storyline was the one that was the most frustrating because I didn't see where we were headed. And then once we got there, immediately I'm very invested in where it was headed, right?
Totally.
And like, it's very successful in that way.
Yeah.
And I think that, I don't know if it's that like we need to acknowledge what the structure of our show is more so that the audience, not the majority of our audience, I think is on board.
You guys get it.
But for that faction that seems to think that like, oh, well, you didn't like this chapter because you haven't read this chapter. And I'm like, well, yeah, but that's just my honest feelings about that chapter until I read that chapter. But in the future, and it's why I get frustrated with the like, oh, but this is great on a reread. And I'm like, okay, but that's not the experience we're having right now. Like that as a criticism of our criticism is meaninless to the environment within which we are reading the book.
Yeah.
And like, yes, I complained about the Aviendha stuff because I really did feel like it was leading to the first half of this revelation, which I don't think is very strong.
Yeah.
Of like, well, no, you just had to stand up for yourself so that you didn't view yourself as an equal. And I'm like, there are so many ways to graduate someone into a program without making them feel like an apprentice. That is on the people who are graduating that person to do. And you can do that without shaming them. And I think that is not great.
Yeah.
What I do think is great, though, is saying, hey, you're going to have the power to do this to somebody. You need to understand what the cost of that feeling is.
Yeah.
That is brilliant.
Yes.
And that made it all work for me.
Yes, 1,000%.
No.
That is like... honestly, one of my favorite just like one lines in the series so far.
Yeah.
That moment just it brings it all together. It's perfect. Like it's
it really
it's
is
incredibly done. I'm very satisfied, and I was genuinely concerned that I wouldn't be satisfied with this whole part of the story, and I'd be like, okay, well, that was kind of silly, but at least it's done now. And now I'm like, nope, I get it. I get what you were trying to say, and I think it's so important.
Yeah.
So,
and I think it is important to Aviendha because I think the lesson Aviendha learns from that one sentence is so valuable. Mm-hmm. Right? Especially going into a giant war with the devil. Like, I think that it's valuable to know like what your actions consequences can be. Yeah. And it's a lesson I think Rand also needs to learn, right?
Yeah. Rand's got a lot of stuff to learn.
Yeah. Madeline Montfort says, I think it's confusing people because of the intensity of your not fully understanding rants. I think that if we had milquetoast opinions and we sat here and just kind of were like, I liked this, I didn't like this, thanks for being here, this was great, I don't think anyone would watch our content. Yeah. I think that the reason why we have a viewership is because the intensity of my not understanding rants are large, and so it's entertainment.
And having strong feelings is just to me more interesting. Mm-hmm. Like I don't really want to watch something where they're like, oh yeah, this was like fine, like don't maybe it'll have context later, moving on from it. Like for us, it is definitely more fun and hopefully more interesting for the audience to really like dig into it and then have that huge flip if something does shine a light on it or bring a new perspective into it. So yeah.
I tune into other people's stuff. And I would never name names, but there are some podcasts that don't have great viewership, but they're nice people. Mm-hmm. And I tune in and they're like, I really like this scene. It was good. This scene I didn't like very much. It wasn't good. And you're like, okay, cool. Like,
yeah, which like is...
You got to yell into your microphone. Unfortunately, like the reality of the business model is you have to yell into your microphone a little bit. It's
just more fun to like have strong feelings about things. Like to like let it affect you as a person.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Being like kind of apathetic towards it is fine. Like there's nothing like wrong with that.
It would be impossible.
But it's also not how we go through life.
Well, no, we're very emotional people, and I'm larger than life, and I know that. But I also think that like if I were to be like, oh, I can't judge it till book 14, then I can't do a weekly show about it.
Yeah, then that makes it really tough, and so.
You know what I mean? Like what are we? What can we make this if we're not going to have big emotions every week? why is the show 3 hours? You know, it's tough.
Yeah, do you guys want shorter book
Why is the
club?
show 3 hours? Guys, why?
Because
why is the show 3 hours?
Start talking about the most random shit.
Because Gawyn should not have beat up those 4 men. Okay, Ramonda is
having a meeting
with Shimmerin.
Yep.
This is where Brandon Sanderson's point of view jumping starts to like really point out. To me, like we jump around point of views a lot in this section of reading, because like the Aviendha point of view and this feel very disjointed, but they're in the same chapter for some reason.
Sure, yeah, they're in the same chapter for. I don't know. And, like, I don't know what a crack in the stone is supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Is that supposed to refer to Ruidian? Or is that, like, a crack because they have a way to sneak into the White Tower? Maybe?
No, I think the stone is literally Aviendha. I think that Min cracks the stone that is Aviendha.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna get a
Min
Ruidian
shatters
scene.
Her personality.
I'm very excited to go back to Ruidian. Mm-hmm. I think that's gonna be very cool. And also she gets to keep her clothes on.
I'm excited for Aviendha to finally fucking talk to... Yeah, that was a Brandon Sanderson edition for sure.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Aviendha to finally fucking talk to Rand again because she's been such a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Punishing
Rand for, like, fuck. Rand is going through the worst shit ever and you're not going to his side because you feel shame. Like... No, but seriously, the man that you love was attacked last night, and you don't go talk to him because you're like, oh, I'm being punished. Like, wait, like, Aviendha does not deserve Rand's love. If you cannot show up for your partner when they need you because you have to make it all about your own shit, then, like, you're not ready to be loved yet. You are not ready to be in a real adult relationship. Because the truth about a relationship with someone that you care for that much is that no matter what the fuck is going on in your life, if they're attacked by the Forsaken, you go to their side and you're there for them.
The problem is that the Aiel have this strange version of what is shameful, right? And so, like, Aviendha, like, truly believes that, like, she is doing the right thing because she is not worthy of Rand, because she has to do these things first. And so
she's right.
I agree with what you're saying, but that's just an Aiel-ness that I think is a little bit bonkers, personally. I think that, like, putting your partner first, but that, and also, like, Rand is an Aiel, so he wouldn't see it that way. But, like, I don't know. Aviendha's in a weird spot, but I agree that, like, Rand went through something really difficult, and Aviendha doesn't allow that to change her opinion or perspective on, like, being able to speak to him.
The reason why Aviendha is not deserving of him in this moment is because her reasoning for not being with him is, oh, well, I have to deal with my shit first. Which is selfish and indicative that she's right. She's not ready to be there for him. I'm just saying that she's correct in her assumption.
Yeah.
She's right. She's not ready to be there for him because he deserves somebody who's not going to make it about herself when he's attacked.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of the situation, right?
Yeah.
You cannot make it about, oh, well, like, you know, my mom's kind of mad at me, so I'm sorry that you were beat up, but I'm going to leave you alone. Like, it's very immature. And she calls herself out on it, and she's right, unfortunately, in this situation.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to more Ruidian. This can be.
I just hope Ruidian fucking, like, gets her over her shit, and we finally get like the Aviendha that was so fun to read for so many books back.
Yeah, back in book 4. Yeah, for sure. Ramonda is to interrogating Shimmerin, and Lelaine is also there. There's a bunch of them, and they ask her a bunch of questions about what happened and how she got out, and she's totally fine telling them. She tells them everything. She doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, because what does she have to lose, right?
Well, because she sees herself as an accepted and sees them all as Aes Sedai. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, I gotta do whatever they say. Yeah. Even though she still definitely sees Eleda as the Amerlin seat.
But also, I loved the detail that Shimmerin is like, oh, no, I was loyal. She just did it to do it. Yeah. And Ramonda being like, oh, that's even more dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, that is just...
She set a precedent so that people who, in the future, defy her...
With someone who would accept it. To make it easier for her to break her enemies. Like, I really love... And I love the way that Ramonda figures that out. Yeah. I give Ramonda a lot of shit, but Ramonda's actually pretty great in this scene.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of get attacked by insects. By
cockroaches, yeah. From Shara.
Yeah. The 4-legged cockroaches. This is your favorite scene, right?
No. God, I have a sneeze that's like right here,
Yeah, I can
and
tell.
It won't fucking go away.
Do you think Ramonda grows as a person from burning all of her earthly possessions? Does she become more? Does she like find Jesus?
No.
You don't think she finds piety in no longer having earthly possessions?
Yeah, no. Absolutely not. There's no fucking way.
Mm-hmm. And then Ramonda's like, should we just accept it and like go kowtow to Aleda because cockroaches? I didn't really understand what Ramonda's point was at the end of this. She basically just found out that Aleda was willing to like unseat Aes Sedai, and then some cockroaches attack, and she's like, maybe we should go back. And I was like, Ramonda, fuck you.
Ramonda is basically like, oh shit, the last battle is actually like really fucking close. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to do anymore. Yeah,
but the thing that keeps this thing that sticks in my craw about that is that does anyone in the world think that Aleda could lead the Aes Sedai to be beneficial to the last battle?
No, but Ramonda
like, is there one person?
No, but Ramonda thinks very highly of herself as a sitter and is like, oh yeah, I would have a say. I would be in charge, right? So, because, I don't know, the Aes Sedai are... Anyways, next chapter, 27, The Tipsy Gelding.
The Tipsy Gelding.
We get Matt, who feels a little bit more like Matt.
Matt feels so much more like Matt this week.
Yeah, this
not fully, but like... Mostly.
Closer. Yeah. I was like, okay.
Mostly because he isn't just complaining about women for a whole chapter.
Yeah. That was a little bit rough.
We left Incel Matt on the road. And that's what I was saying in that chapter, last week's reading, where I was like, I did not like this chapter, but at the same time, like, Matt's allowed to have a bad day.
Yes. 100%. Matt, our characters are allowed to have a bad day. And that chapter's kind of saved because, like, Talmains is, like, making fun of him for it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, is like, oh, yeah, well, never heard that one before. Like, I think it kind of works. But
Tom wants to go save Moraine, but Matt's like, we're not. There's a couple of steps, but we are going to do that. I promise.
Yeah.
First, we have to go into a town called Hofstede. Hurdlestep. What was it?
Staps Heart.
Why can't I remember what the name of this town was called? Hapstep. Whatever. Anyway. So
Hinderstap.
Hinderstap.
That's it.
God, I'm fucking dyslexic.
Happenstance.
It's literally actually, right here, and I can't read it.
Yeah, it's all good. It's happenstance. Don't worry about it.
They go in, they split up, because Tom is like, I am a Gleeman, and I can find out information by myself. And the Aes Sedai are like, we are Aes Sedai, and we want a bed.
Yeah.
And then Matt wants to go to the place where people actually go when they're locals. And this is where Matt and I agree. I am a big fan of... when I travel, finding like the not tourist bar. What?
Yeah, sorry. All the versions of Hinderstap Cumberstap is my favorite one so far.
That's pretty good. Guys, sometimes words are hard for me, okay?
No, you're good.
That's why I read as my job.
Yeah.
And not even like small books. It's why I read 1,000-page tomes as my job.
Yeah, she's a beast.
Oh my god. So they go into the bar and Matt is like, it's time to dice. And this is where I don't... This was a big difference in terms of... I think Brandon Sanderson writes Matt's personality well. I don't think he writes Matt's superpower well.
Yeah, so Matt can control his luck on command.
Matt has like a lever in his brain that he like goes win, lose, win, lose.
Yeah.
And I didn't
love that.
The way that Robert Jordan... Do you remember that one scene where Matt is dicing and then he wins all the money and then he loses the last hand and realizes that the luck was on his side because they were about to kill him?
Yes. But he didn't choose to lose that one?
I can't remember what book that was in. But like that was...
like 2 books ago?
That was fucking incredible writing of the luck.
Yeah.
This felt goofy because it felt like he had put in a cheat code in a video game.
Yeah, he motherloaded
and was like, I'm gonna lose this one. I'm gonna win this one so it's not suspicious. I'm gonna lose this one. Yeah. I'm gonna lose this one. And I was like, I did not love the way Brandon Sanderson adapted this kind of scene.
Yeah. James Smith, thank you for that super chat. Bear and Kilt. What is Bear and Kilt? Did I miss something?
I have no idea what Bear and Kilt is.
I'm sorry.
Sorry,
if
James,
it's a
I don't know what
reference
that is.
that I don't understand. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, the whole, like, being able to, like, have complete control over the luck doesn't feel like luck. anymore. It just feels like a superpower.
It's Robert Jordan just wrote it a little bit more. It was different with the way Robert Jordan wrote it, and made it seem a little bit more like luck and less like basically telekinesis. Like he might as well be telekinetic at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Kenny, welcome back to the nerd table for 16 months.
I remember playing this D&D Ravenloft module. Oh, the Hinderstap.
Oh.
It does it does feel like a Dungeons and Dragons.
This is what I talked about as like the Witcher side quest.
I'm gonna put Hinderstap into the relay.
Oh my god, hilarious!
Don't stay there at night. Rental Moore says Matt's powers never made sense, and for me, anyways. Yeah, I don't think they ever really made sense.
They never made sense.
This was just written differently.
Yeah,
and it just stood out because it's always felt there was always sort of a like sex appeal feel to the way Robert Jordan wrote the luck, and this felt very not sexy. This felt very nerdy and. Do you know what I mean?
No, I can't put my finger on exactly what it is, but yes.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah,
like
that
Matt's
makes sense.
luck always felt like James Bond at a casino.
It's a little sexy.
And now it feels like Sheldon Cooper. No, it feels like. Did you guys see that movie 21?
Yeah.
Where they cast fucking.
What I don't remember his name.
They cast the white guy as the Asian guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like. It felt like that, where you're like, this isn't sexy. This is a little bit sad.
Yeah. Couldn't tell you why, but I agree with that 100%.
And so he loses, and then he's like, oh my god, but I have this giant chest of gold. What can you guys bet against it? And the town is like, we'll give you all of our food and
everything.
shit.
Take everything.
We want gold, even though we live in the mountains, and I'm not really sure what the gold. I don't really know what the gold is going to do for a town that size.
Now, I do have a question here. Because the dice in Matt's head stop rolling when he says, we're gonna toss the dice one more time, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't the situation have still been almost the exact same because the Aes Sedai were still bathing? Like, this, to me, the moment the dice stop implied that if Matt had decided to leave, to get out by sunset, then everything would have been fine and dandy. Then then this wouldn't have happened. But the dice stop in that moment because he decides to stay, and so this thing happens. But I feel like this thing definitely would have still happened, obviously. But like they would have been present for it because the Aes Sedai were still bathing and Tom was still hanging out. So like I don't really understand why the dice stop in this moment.
I don't understand why the dice stop in his head ever.
I usually can figure it out in a general sense, but...
Yeah, but, like, why... Like, okay, so, like, when he meets Tuon, it's when she enters the room, but why isn't when she's at the end of the hallway, or when she enters the door at the front of the castle, or when her ship landed in Ebudar? Like, it's oftentimes the dice don't stop because of Matt's actions. They kind of stop because he, like, runs into somebody.
I guess, but it felt like he was like, yeah, no, we're going to toss this one, and then the dice stopped. But
I don't think of the dice stop as his actions causing something. I think of it more as like a warning.
A warning.
I think it is the dice in his head are letting him know to pay attention to an important moment in his life. Because it's very rarely been that the dice are like, it's not like he comes to a fork in the road and he has a left and a right and he chooses one and the dice stop. It's generally like, oh, hi, I'm Tuon. The dice stopped rolling. It's his brain. It is his brain's way of being like, something big is about to happen. Pay attention. And then they stop and he's like, oh, that was the thing I was supposed to pay attention to. Lock that one away.
Okay, I never thought about that.
But it's I've never seen them as choices that he's made. The dice stop rolling when the people are about to fucking murder him.
Okay, fair. I definitely was not interpreting it that way this whole time.
Because I agree with you. I don't think there is a way for Matt to get people... When the mayor said 3 hours, I was like, that's not possible.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you know how long it takes a woman to put a dress on in this era. But in order for the Aes Sedai to disrobe, have a bath, and then re-robe, if they don't eat food, which they said they were going to have a meal on top of that, that is a full process. Those Aes Sedai aren't stepping out without doing their hair. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair.
Like, there is propriety in the way that there's a way they're supposed to behave. So, like, there was no chance they were leaving there in 3 hours.
Oh, no, for sure. Which, I guess, this brings us into the next chapter. I feel like this one and the next one are definitely combined. So, chapter 28, basically, they don't leave before sunset. And so...
Was there anything else more than 27? No, there isn't, right?
I don't think so.
No.
They basically... The sun goes down, and these people just start fucking attacking one another. They're like zombies. I was like, oh shit, we got zombies now in this fantasy series. That's fun.
No, it's not zombies, though.
It's not, no.
Because at first I was like,
I thought...
vampires.
Oh, interesting.
I thought we were going full on, like... actually, zombies would make sense, too, though, because it could be like the Curse of the Black Pearl.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where under the moonlight, they become... It is kind of Curse of the Black Pearl-y.
Kind of.
Oh my god, did Robert Jordan steal this from the Pirates of the Caribbean?
Pirates of the Caribbean came out in, like, 2000, like, I don't know, 4?
What?
Didn't the first one come out?
Yeah, but the ride was built in, like, 87, right?
Yeah, but the ride doesn't have the zombie stuff in it. It was just a pirate-themed boat.
Oh, yeah, I guess
They added that stuff later.
all of the undead stuff is not in the ride, is it?
No, they added that stuff later.
That's so funny. I remembered the zombies in the ride, and they're not... Oh, it's because there's that one skeleton. But it's not.
Sure,
it's not
yeah.
moving.
There's like there's a skeleton in it. Yes.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, no, the zombie stuff from the ride Pirates of the Caribbean, but there's no zombies in that ride.
Yeah.
We've ridden that multiple times. My brain is a fucking disaster.
I love your brain.
I know, but like, what? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Where were we?
The zombies attack.
This scene, look.
Horrifying.
If this is how Brandon Sanderson writes all of the action in his books, I will read every one of his goddamn books.
Oh, I was so close. 2003.
You were very close.
Oh, I know.
That is still before this book came out.
Huh.
Yeah, didn't this book come out in 2007? Because Memory of Light came out in 2000 and... No, that can't be right.
First edition, 2009?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so Curse of the Black Pearl actually predates this by 6 years.
Oh, shit. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, they're different. They're different.
Oh,
obviously.
no. Yeah,
it's just funny.
And this is not the number of human stories across every single culture where at night people become dangerous. Pirates of the Caribbean can't claim that one.
No. But yeah, this is like the Witcher side quest that's like so fascinating. It's got this like dark, horrible moment, like literally dark and also like figuratively dark.
But the moment where so they're fighting. And Matt is trying so hard not to kill anybody. And then he just has to give up because it's too dangerous. And then they get on their horses. Matt's like, leave the fucking food. We'll come back for it during daylight. But and then Delarn falls off of his horse.
Yeah. And he's like, I cannot leave this guy to be like torn apart like this.
And he jumps off of his horse, goes back into the fight. And then he can't see shit, and he's fighting in the darkness. And the way, like, because I was reading this at like 1, I'm not going to lie, you guys. I did all of my reading after 10 o'clock last night.
Not all of it. That's not true.
I had read 4 pages before 10 o'clock last night.
No, you'd read a couple of chapters. No.
Oh, maybe I started reading at 9 o'clock last night. But I did not start reading until after dinner last night.
I thought
because I was in the Attack on Titan channel arguing with people.
This motherfucker.
So I was reading this last night at like, she had gone to bed and I'm reading and I was like, this is fucking incredible. Like this scene, the sequence of fighting in the dark was written so I felt like I was there.
I was horrified.
And the moment
in the best way, like
the moment where Matt recognizes Delarn because he's like, "Oh, that shadow is doing a sword move."
Yes.
That these crazed motherfuckers wouldn't do.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so fucking
brilliant.
cool.
Fucking brilliant.
Oh my god, I was riveted.
Although the one thing that I'm like not sure I totally buy is that one of these things was able to get his sword away from him and like stab him with it.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he was grabbed by like 5 people at once and it happened, right? I don't think it was like in one-on-one combat.
Yeah, okay, maybe.
He was also fighting in the dark.
Yeah, sure.
I think that you're used to playing elf characters in D&D who have dark sight, but most human characters can't see shit.
No, that's fair. I just thought that, like, I guess they probably, like, got his sword away from him at first and he was able to, like, get it back. But, anyways, it doesn't matter. This whole thing was fucking cool.
Yeah, he got it back because the person put it in his body.
Yeah.
And then he got it back.
He got it back. Sheathed the sword.
There's a lot of people in this saying that this feels like a Sanderson edition. I have a feeling Sanderson was reading the notes and was like, oh, Matt does nothing. I'm going to give Matt something to do. Because I've been complaining about it for a while. Like, Matt is literally just riding down the road.
Well, and I would rather him have this Witcher side quest than just be, like, meandering down the road again. Like, this had nothing to do with the plot, but it was so interesting.
But it finally makes the Bubbles of Evil... Like, this is what I've been waiting for the Bubbles of Evil to do for books. Is be horror that isn't just, like, kitschy. Like, this was genuinely, like, a great scene from a horror novel.
Yeah.
And the next day when they go back to talk to these people, it is affecting their lives on every... Like, they have had to completely change the way they live their lives because of it.
Yeah.
Which is so much more interesting than, like, oh, no, cockroaches. Bye, it's over. Well, that was weird. Oh, no, our room moved to a different castle. Like, that shit to me is very kitschy and, like, all of the characters are getting over it because it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Whereas this is something that is so bad that it has drastically affected all of these people's lives, and your heart breaks for them immediately because of it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that, like, this is the kind of vibe that I've been wanting from the Bubbles of Evil for a while.
Yeah.
Where it's not just, like, a random thing that happens
And
where...
it always happens to Matt. The peddler, also Matt.
Matt gets the most interesting of them consistently, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, a person devolving into beetles is weird, but it's like... Okay, like...
You can't do anything about it.
You can't do anything about it.
You're just fucked if the Dark One picks you, I guess.
And I thought that, like, this is the best Brandon Sanderson... Or this is the best Bubble of Evil in all of the books so far. No, except for the mirrors attacking Rand. That scene was where, like, little versions of himself...
The mirror, yeah.
A bunch of, like,
cool.
nude miniature Rands made out of mirror glass attacking him is one of the funniest things, and I can't wait for that to be on the show.
It's hilarious and also horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so Delarn is it's fine. They find the Aes Sedai. He does get healed.
Talmains sees which one, Edicina in a robe, and Matt is like, hold it together, man. And Talmains is like, I'm trying, but my dick is hard.
Yeah, literally.
I was like, you've never seen a woman in a fucking robe, Talmains? You were
there are zombies outside.
Mortal danger.
Like, and you're like, yeah.
And he's like, boobies. Matt, boobies.
Yeah, he's like, it's like the top of the robe was open like a little bit, and he's like, clavicle. Like, I was like, all right.
Oh, it was so funny.
Yeah. No, they're not naked.
They're not naked. They're in robes.
Yeah.
But, like, Talmain's fucking... I might have screenshotted that line. Because
really?
Literally... I was laughing so hard at this.
Yeah.
No, I didn't screenshot it.
That's fine.
But yeah, it's like Talmain's is like, I'm trying, Matt, I'm trying.
Yeah, I know. That was very funny to me. It's like, you fucking...
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Horny motherfuckers.
And also Matt's response of, like, they're not women. Talmain's, they're Aes Sedai.
It's like, wow.
And he's like, you say that, but, like, those tits are tits, Matt.
Yeah.
Titties are still titties on an Aes Sedai.
The titties still count, okay? They still count. Oh man, that was very funny.
Yeah, it was definitely it was a very funny line.
Yeah.
So they kidnap a couple of girls, take them with them. And they go and sit on a hill. They escape and sit on a hill.
Yeah, they get out.
Delarn is healed.
Tom is there. They find
Tom is there.
Yeah.
Tom, I really liked. I liked Tom. Yeah, Tom appears in the dark and is like, "Man, we gotta go. I'm running out of knives."
Yeah. The intrepid Craig McGill. If you know, you know. Thank you for that.
I don't know.
Super chat. I don't know.
It reminds me of the church scene in Kingsman. Yes.
Oh God. Yeah.
Get that fucking fight choreographer to do this for the show.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that would be very cool.
And so Matt doesn't sleep, and Tom's like, "You should sleep," and Matt's like, "How the fuck am I supposed to sleep after that, Tom?"
Fair. Fucking fair.
What are you talking
about?
about?
Watch children rip each other apart. Like,
yeah, like
that's some fucked up shit.
I'm sorry, I'm an insomniac tonight. I just watched children violently ripping the skin off of each other.
Well, and they also have those two children like captive, who disappear, and the warder's like, "Wait, what the fuck? They were just here." And Tom was like, "Yeah, we just saw them. That's super strange." And so Matt just goes back into town. He's like, interesting what's going on here. And there's like a little bit of blood where Delarn...
Only Delarn's blood is on the ground.
Only Delarn's blood is on the ground. Everything else is like back to... Sorry, the buildings and structures are not back to normal, but there's no bodies, there's no blood, there's nothing of that. And all the people are like, fucking awkward. Like, everyone's, like, really uncomfortable. And so Matt shows up.
I do like that they're painting.
Yeah, they're like, well, we gotta fix it.
Like, how many nights of this would you go through before you're like, just leave it?
Well, they were painting over the char marks, which the Aes Sedai made. I'm sure that doesn't happen all the time.
I know, but my point is, like, at what point do you stop fixing? Like, fix the doors to keep the draft out?
No, that's
when
But
at what point do you keep it looking nice?
You gotta... They're trying to keep their humanity in some way.
Sure, but, like, there's a char mark on the wall. Like, there's gonna be a certain number of nights where you're like, don't worry about it.
Well, and that's the moment that they lose.
They've already lost.
Oh, sure, but I mean, like...
These people, there's no shot of them winning.
But, they gotta at least try to have lives. Because it's weird. It's like Groundhog Day, but it's not... They're not repeating the same day over and over. They just can't die. They can't escape the pattern.
Which is...
That's
the line about them being like, some people killed themselves, and then they just woke up in their beds the next morning, and I'm like, do they remember killing themselves? Because that's fucking...
That's some fucked up shit.
Because I would go full Groundhog Day, and, like, I would just keep killing myself in more and more creative ways.
just to see how it feels. For science.
Honestly, I would be the best.
This is Semirage's, like, perfect world.
Oh, yeah. You could do whatever you want, and they keep coming back. And they can tell you what it was like.
Oh, that's so fucked. Oh, I'm glad she's dead.
That's so crazy to think about. Holy shit.
I'm so glad that she's dead.
But I would be great in that town. I'm the guy you want in this situation.
Why?
Because I would become an unhinged entertainer for everybody.
Become a Florida man?
Yeah, I would be like, everyone gather round. Today what crazy shit do you want to see today, folks? I'll do whatever.
God damn it.
I would take it upon myself to be the court jester of the town. And people would like, I would try and make it fun. You know me, I can't let things be a bad vibe.
Yeah.
And so I would try too hard, and people would hate me. There would be a lot of people in that town who would fucking despise me. They'd be like, can you just like...
Shut the fuck up. Yeah.
Stop. And I'd be like, no, we're gonna have fun today. Who wants to beat who wants to beat me to death and see what it's like?
In the brain.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't die, if there's no consequences for death, the weird shit that I would try...
Fair. Yeah, I feel like they'll get creative after a while.
Oh, yeah. I would give up. I would give up right away.
But I love that Matt saves Delarn from this fate without even, like, realizing it in the moment. Like, if he had died, he would have become, like, one of them, right?
Yeah, that's fucked up. That's
fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Blue, clever name. I like your name. Says, why make the bed if you're going to mess it up again tonight? I've never once made my bed in my entire life.
Making the bed actually traps the germs in it.
I taught you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dakuna says truly unhinged Val and Luca. 1,000%. I would be the most unhinged Val and Luca.
You would like fucking like wrestle a fucking saber-toothed tiger just for fun.
Where the fuck am I can't leave. Where am I getting a saber-toothed tiger?
I don't know. They live in the mountains. They might exist in this world. Who knows?
Okay.
This is fantasy.
There you have it. Clarus thinks that if this was happening, we would be able to find a saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
In the hills
Gotta get creative.
of Andor.
Creative, okay? Now, do the animals have the same thing happen to them? I guess they don't fight one another, so no, if the animals die, they die. Because you would have unlimited food supply.
Yeah.
Right? You just
Can you die of starvation? Do they need food?
Probably not. Probably not. Damn. This Witcher side quest opens up so many fucking weird questions that are so fascinating, but, like, aren't relevant.
And I don't think he's ever going to come back.
No, probably not. Yeah. But I thought this was rad. I'm glad that Semiraj is dead so that these people she doesn't find them and torture them for eternity.
Think about how good you could become as a soldier, though, if you could train to the death every day with no consequences. Because you wouldn't have to train with practice swords. You could train with real swords.
True.
Wild.
It would still hurt, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, but what does pain mean when you die every night?
Yeah.
Like...
Anyways, there's someone who's giving out posters of Perrin and Matt in a nearby town. And Matt is like, that's very suspicious. Let's go find out.
Did you think... Who did you think it was?
I just thought it was a dark friend who was like enacting the like these two people must be killed order at all costs, and so they were looking for him. I did not expect.
I immediately assumed it was going to be someone we knew who wasn't evil because we know that Ishamael can just find them.
Fair. Fair.
Because when the Hinderstap thing first started, I thought it was the same thing that happened in that previous town, right? Mm-hmm. And so I assumed it was going to be a good person here because we know that like Ishamael can go look at the wheel and see where the thread leads to Matt and whatever that fucking power that he has is. So I was very unsurprised that it was Varen, just because I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
That's fair. I did not see that fucking coming at all. Mm-hmm. Anyways, chapter 29? I think that's
it. Yeah.
They get the food.
Oh, they get food. They get their gold.
Yeah, but Matt leaves a bunch for them.
Yeah. Wheel Up Time number 14. The one thing that makes a train is being a train. Did I say that?
Apparently.
I love that you just pulled up a random quote by trying to quote me.
Yeah, if you do command quote, it will bring up things that have
Don't do it. There's so many bad quotes.
I don't think anyone can add quotes. I think mods have
only
to...
only Fabu can.
Only Fabu can add quotes?
I think so.
Oh, because you made Fabu an editor?
Yeah, because Fabu was made an editor on... you had to be a mod on my Twitch channel.
Twitch, but this isn't connected.
But it's the Stream Elements bot.
Okay, I'm gonna test something.
All right. I don't know what the command to add quotes is. Chapter 29, Into Bandariban. Rand gets to Bandariban and is like, guys, I'm here to distribute the grain. I love that a quote that I said was held for review. That is so funny.
That's so funny.
I've never seen a penis that has two faces. That is...
Hell yeah, I can add quotes. Let's fucking go.
I can't... Why did I say I've never seen a penis that has two faces?
No idea.
That is such a funny random thing for a person to say.
Not a clue.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Rand is riding into town, just casually listing the names of all the women he's killed, because that's, our boy is super healthy in the head. His mental health is peak at the moment.
11 out of 10.
11 out of 10
just
mental health. Just
living his best life,
And we get the, truly heartbreaking moment of Lews Therin adding Ilyena, my good friend, Lews Therin Telamon.
I'm sorry, I thought you said at-ing, and I was like, what?
What? Okay. Sorry, chat. Give us 1 second. What is happening with us today?
I don't know what you mean.
This has been an experience.
Like good or bad?
I don't know. I can't tell.
Okay.
Are you good?
We'll probably figure it out later.
Okay. Sorry, chat. We just had to decide.
Just a quick aside. Theatrical aside, if you will.
This quote is unhinged. Shrek solos everyone in the Star Wars universe except for Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks is the only Star Wars character who could give Shrek a run for his money. Why did I say that?
I can't even
Guys,
begin
I'm
to
very
figure
funny.
out the context for that one. Maybe you were high. You were playing high
Fabu,
last week.
Why did you just add a quote that I said because it's already been added?
Fabu did quoteception. They added the quote that you had already been quoted for. I love it. I fucking love it.
All right. Well, now it's double quoted.
See, people are adding Ilyena in the chat. That's what Lews Therin did. He's
Ilyena!
Like, hashtag sad boy.
Ishamael, once played by my dear friend, Billy Zane.
Dear friend.
Yeah, we're close.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We made a TikTok together.
We made one TikTok together, so we're good friends.
Yeah. Look, me and Billy Zane are tight. You know what I mean? I love that Titanic son of a bitch. God
damn it.
So, as he's doing this, the Aes Sedai keep coming up and being like, you shouldn't have exiled Cadsuane. And he's like, I legitimately don't care.
I don't give a fuck.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay.
He just, looks at them, and they're like...
But Cadsuane, because she is just incapable of taking responsibility for her actions, is still there. Is still trying to connive and manipulate Rand because she does not want to even take a day to maybe think about how she ended up in the situation that she ended up in. And because it's been a day. She was exiled the day before.
Yeah, I thought this was more of I have one purpose in life and I fucked it up with Rand, so I'm still going to be here to do my best behind the scenes. Because she's like, I fucked it up.
Yeah, you can give him some space.
I mean, she is. She's hiding her face.
No, she's not. Cat Swain is making the situation worse again.
Cat Swain made a new account and is still harassing after Rand blocked her.
But that's what it is, right? And like the problem is that she needs to go fucking grow up, which is crazy to say about someone who's almost 300. We get an age for her. She's almost 300.
Yeah.
We finally do get the...
I thought we knew she was about 300.
The only thing we knew is that the last time she made a mistake was 270 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So she was like 30 when she made her last mistake.
Yeah, she was less than 30.
Right.
But I'm like, Cat Swain, like, fucking back off for a day. For one day. You know where he's gonna be. You can travel. You're gonna be fine. Take a minute. Give him a little bit of space. Instead of fucking hounding him immediately. But
she's not trying to, like, be up in his space. She's just, like, being with the Aes Sedai.
She's 1,000% there to try and figure out a way back into his good graces immediately. Like, she literally...
she's trying to atone for her mistakes.
We get her POV, and she's like, well, this fucking guy fucked everything up, so I've got a plan now to fix it.
But then
it's been one day.
But then she says, I fucked this up, and I have to find a way to make it right.
Sure, but you can give someone a little bit of space. And, like, the problem with Cat Swain
where's she supposed to go?
Literally anywhere. The woman can teleport. The woman can go anywhere on Earth in a blink of an eye. She can do literally anything. She could take some time to go work on another plan. She could go, see what's going on with the other Aes Sedai. She could do anything, and she decides to be as close to Rand as possible immediately after the situation, making it look worse for her. Because she still can't take responsibility and learn that by pushing too hard and by being too presumptuous with him, that's what fucked up. Not Rand is a bad lead, not whatever she thinks the situation is. And because she won't take one fucking day to just go sit in an inn somewhere and reflect. She has to start manipulating the next day. She can't take any time.
She's not manipulating. She's just there.
She's 1,000% manipulating. She's going to meet her contacts to get information, to come up with a plan to fix the situation with Rand immediately.
That's not like I'm going to go manipulate things. That's I fucked up and I need a way to make this better and I need as much information at my disposal as possible.
If someone tells you fuck off and you don't fuck off because of your actions, right?
So you think she should just stop doing anything?
I think that she should give him some space, yeah.
That's fair, but like she leaves him in the as soon as they get to the city.
She's in the procession with him.
Yeah, but as soon as they get to the city, she does fuck off. She goes to do her own thing by herself, alone and quiet, and then Rand runs into her later. For a couple
of hours before she's like, oh, figured out the plan. I'm going to go do my thing again. I'm going to go meet with Rand's people to try and get them on my side to manipulate him again. She immediately, within a day...
We don't know that it's a manipulation. We don't know what the plan is yet.
Anything she does at this point is a manipulation.
I don't think that's fair.
Yes. Like, skirting as close to his rules as possible because you think that you're smarter than him.
That's not trying to manipulate someone.
That is 1,000% what she's doing.
No, that's just interpreting someone's instructions.
If you get exiled by someone and your response is, well, I'm hiding my face, so I'm technically doing it.
That's not manipulating somebody. That's being like pedantic
the idea
as fuck.
that anything that Cat Swain does isn't manipulative is hilarious. We've met this character for too long for me to give her any room to think that she's not being manipulative.
I just didn't see this section as being manipulative. It's her like trying to get as much information about the situation as she can because she knows that she fucked up. But she doesn't want Rand to fail. So she's still going to get information to pass on and feed and to like the good side or like for the benefit of them. She can't do it directly now, but she's not just going to go do nothing.
I'm not saying do nothing. I'm saying give Rand space.
Okay, I guess she could have like
the last battle isn't coming in the next 24 hours. You know what I mean?
Well, we don't know that.
Hawthorne says that is one step from I'm not touching you. Exactly. It's childish. Cat Swain is behaving like a childish person here.
Totally.
Because
but that's not
she's
manipulation.
So much smarter than everyone else. Yeah, sure. let's see what her plan is, and then you can.
Well, and that's the thing is, I don't really know what
you have to defend whatever the fuck she comes up with.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do, because you're the one here. Like, it's not manipulative to put your hood up and like skirt his rules so that you can stay near him.
Remember we talked about earlier in this podcast
about
where we were like, people expect us to not be able to ever change our minds with new information that comes along.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
But I'm saying that
if it ends up being manipulative, why would I defend her?
No, but I'm saying that it is already manipulative. I think that using the letter of the law to stay as close to him as possible so that you can find a way back into his graces within 24 hours of being exiled, that to me is manipulating the situation because you think that because you haven't learned the lesson of what happened the last time. I think that she is already manipulating the situation by skirting what he wanted, by poking the bear.
I think we have different interpretations of manipulation. Because her intention of being there with her hood up is not to fuck with Rand. That's not why she's there.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
There's no other reason for her to be there.
That is not true. She believes the last battle is coming and is willing to do anything possible in her power to make sure that it goes well and that she's able to help it. Not
by doing what?
What?
By doing what?
She's going to get information and chat with the Aes Sedai.
To influence who?
What do you mean?
To influence who?
We don't know yet.
Rand. The only person she cares about is Rand.
Yes,
and she won't leave him the fuck alone.
I'm saying that that her being there with her hood up is not a manipulation of Rand. Yeah, it's childish and yeah, it's pedantic. Like, yeah, I'm not saying that's like the best thing to do. I just don't think that counts as manipulation. I think it's trying to hold on to a situation that you have lost control of in the smallest way that you can possibly do. And that's what she does. She's there. She follows his orders. She does what he says.
She does not. She manipulates his orders to fit her version of it because she has no respect for him, which is the problem in the first place. She doesn't want to respect him. She wants to do whatever the fuck she wants.
Her being there,
and so she takes a sliver of a reality of what he said, of the exact words that he said, to disrespect him by not following what he asked of her.
Okay, but if manipulation is trying to like maneuver somebody into doing what you want, right? It's trying to prod them in a way, in a direction, or to see something that you see. She is not doing anything. She is just there.
Yes, she is. She goes to the wise ones behind his back to get them to do whatever her plan is. No.
Oh,
not her existence.
She brings a plan.
In this chapter, she goes to the wise ones who work for Rand. Yes, we are. That's what this chapter is about. No.
You were saying that her being there with her hood up is manipulation. I'm saying
No. She is manipulating what Rand said to allow her to manipulate him. Yes, that's what is happening here.
Manipulating what Rand said?
By going to the wise ones behind Rand's back. She is taking advantage of him disrespecting him to manipulate him.
Totally. I'm talking about her being there with her
I'm talking about her actions as a whole in this chapter. I'm not talking about individually. Okay, I'm talking about all of her actions in this chapter
that's what I was saying,
a manipulation.
Is that her being there isn't manipulative. Her like presence there.
But I agree that there's matter because her being there is why she goes. But her being there allows her to go to the wise ones and do the shit that she's doing behind his back. She is trying to influence Rand from behind his back after he deliberately told her not to. That is manipulative. That is a manipulation.
I agree that there are definitely parts of this chapter that are like that, even though we don't know.
Why are we having this argument? Like, okay, yes, her being in the room is not manipulative. Fine, I will concede that to you. But what she is doing in this chapter is manipulative.
I mean, she hasn't done anything yet.
Yes, she has. She went to the wise ones behind Rand's back. That is inherently a manipulation of her being exiled. Like, yes, Rand says you are exiled. And she skirts that and goes behind his back to the wise ones.
Okay, so if I have a plan, if I'm like, hey, there's an army over here, and I think that we should flank them from this side and have cavalry over here, about this many of them.
Sorry, what?
If I have a battle plan, if I have a strategy for something.
I have no idea where you're going with this, but sure.
And I bring it to the people that can help me enact that strategy, that is manipulation?
if they tell you they do not want you there and you use their allies to do it behind their back, yes.
Well, but the Aiel want her there. Like, Sulin and Cadsuane work together.
That does not change the fact that she is trying to manipulate Rand by going to his allies behind his back. That doesn't change that fact. Whether the Wise Ones want him there or not, it doesn't fucking matter to Rand and what he has asked of her. And the problem that the reason Cadsuane ended up in this position in the first place is because she couldn't respect Rand enough to treat him like a fucking person in this equation. She's treating him like a dog that she's trying to train for the fucking Westminster Abbey bullshit. Cadsuane does not learn the lesson of treating Rand like a human being to be in this situation. And so what is she doing? Rather than taking a fucking second to self-reflect, the day after this happens, she goes and uses the letter of Rand's law to go behind his back again and treat him like a dog again, instead of respecting him. She is manipulating the situation to meet her needs because she thinks she's so much fucking smarter than Rand. That is what is happening here. And like it isn't about whose plan is right. It isn't about who has the better strategy to beat the Dark One. None of that matters. Rand said, I am exiling you. Get the fuck out of here. I don't trust you. And she is going behind his back again. All of the other stuff that you're arguing, it doesn't matter. This is about her relationship with Rand. She wants to be his advisor again. And she can't find an ounce of respect for him after she just fucked up royally.
Well, the problem is we don't know what her plan is yet.
It doesn't matter. She's still going behind his back. No. It doesn't matter. Your intentions do not matter if someone tells you, leave me alone.
But she has left him alone.
No, she hasn't.
She's not talking to him.
She is literally working with his allies behind his back to influence him again after he told her to fuck off.
We don't know what the plan is. We don't know what the plan is.
Okay, you know what? We'll get back. Let's move on. We'll get back to it when her plan is revealed.
Sure.
But like the idea that this isn't about Rand, I think is insane.
It is truly about
Rand. Then what are you arguing about?
I don't understand what you're...
Like, I literally don't understand. I don't understand what your point is then. You know that it's about Rand. You know that she's going behind his back.
You just want Cadsuane to go away.
I don't want Cadsuane to go away. I want her to grow. And she's not.
She did. She fully admits that she was wrong.
No, she doesn't, because I'm going to read the fucking quote to you.
Yes, she does.
No, I'll read it to you.
She's like, I bungled this one, is her words. She says that. She fucking says that, and I'll fight you on that. James Smith, thank you for the super chat.
She lowered her hood and joined the Wise One, seating herself on the floor, eschewing cushions. She looks Rolly in the eyes. I have failed, she said.
Yeah.
The Wise One nodded, as if she thought the same thing. Cadsuane forced herself not to show her annoyance. There is no shame in failure, Byers said, when that failure was the fault of another.
Sure, that's not the part that I'm talking about.
But the problem is that even in this scene, they are still saying, well, it's not really your fault.
The collar, not her fault. Definitely. But she says she bungles it. That is like her words verbatim was bungle. She fucked it up.
I know, but saying...
She admitted to failing. She admitting to fucking up.
Saying I have failed...
That is huge growth.
Saying I have failed is not the same as saying, hey, maybe I should have respected... Maybe the reason why I failed is my fault.
But I think bungled is like...
You can fail and have done everything in your power to do the right thing, and this isn't that.
Yeah, but she says I fucked up.
No, she doesn't. She says I have failed.
I'm talking about earlier in this chapter. She says bungled. It is earlier. In this part, she does. She goes to the Wise Ones and she uses the word failed. But earlier in the chapter, she's like, I really bungled it with the kid. Like, that's that. I'm not making that up.
Doesn't sound like Cadsuane to me.
That is in the book. Although I don't know what's the chapter number? We're in like 29.
There's no like dialogue here. It's all just
it's when she's like walking to like the inn, I'm pretty sure. Like she admits that she fucked up.
I just think,
and I think that is important.
I found this very frustrating. I think I don't know. I find this very frustrating, and I don't really understand what you're arguing. I feel like you're trying to make excuses for Cadsuane in this situation in a way that I legitimately don't understand.
I'm not trying to make excuses for her. I am admitting to where she's wrong and where she's being a shitty person, but also like I think you're just coloring all of her actions with that.
What do you mean coloring her actions with that?
Like everything that she does is like terrible. Right? Like, you expect her to just go away and pretend that the last battle's not coming and leave Rand alone. Whereas, like, she can't. And I understand that. And I don't, like, fault her for that.
I think the problem with your argument is that it presumes that Cadsuane is so much better than everyone else that she has to do this.
Well, no, I don't.
And like you're making space for her argument that she is the best, and so everyone should do what she says. She's
not the best. She is
not the best. But that's what your argument leads to.
No,
that
absolutely
she should be doing this behind Rand's back because she can't ignore the last battle, and it's Cadsuane to die.
No. That is not what I'm saying at all.
But then
you are definitely putting words in my mouth there. I'm saying I understand why she can't leave. I'm saying I understand why she's still there. Because I would do the same thing. If I thought the fate of the entire world was at stake, the whole fucking world, I wouldn't just go bury my head in the sand about it.
James Smith, thank you for the super chat. Cadsuane is the best. That is very much not true. Arzu, thank you for the super chat. Nerdy, I agree with you 100%. Thank you. And Glenn Peterson says, are the Wines ones not permitted to speak with anyone they choose? Give Cadsuane a break. I'm not going to give Cadsuane a break. I'm sorry. For crying out loud. I'm not going to. She's 300 years old. She should be better at this. And it's exhausting.
I agree, yeah.
It's exhausting. Like this character is an exhausting mess of a woman who is supposed to be smarter than this, and the fact that like she can't see that the problem with I bungled this is that she doesn't know why, and she's making the same mistake again, but and it's tiring for her to keep making the same mistake over and over and over again.
I mean, she's trying to figure it out.
And I hope she does, but working behind someone's back with the allies after you've been that's not the way to do this. And like I'm telling you now, in real life, if someone tells you to fuck off, don't go to their friends. That it's not a good look. It makes you look like a creep. If someone tells you to leave them alone, at least give them a week. You know what I mean? And like Cadsuane is going about this all wrong.
I think
and she's gonna get her fucking head cut off if she doesn't be careful.
I definitely think that in a normal situation in a normal world, 100%. I think that the circumstances for this make that so wishy-washy and gray.
But that's only if you think that like Cadsuane is so smart that she should manipulate Rand.
But I don't know why you are conflating those two things at all.
Because you're saying like, oh, I understand why she doesn't need to learn her lesson here.
What? No, I'm not. What? No, I'm not.
No. But my point is like, she is very clearly not changing her ways at all.
Maybe. We don't know what her intentions thus far have kind of been to like bully Rand into like doing a certain thing that she wants to do. But then she decides that like, that maybe instead of like strong-arming him into what she thinks is best, she's going to present the information and opinions that she has to his allies to then see how they feel about it, maybe bring them to him, maybe not. Like, there's a whole lot of information here that, like, we don't have. And Rand is also not well. Like, if you have a friend who's maybe in the middle of some shit and you fuck it up, right? And they tell you, fuck off, like, I don't want to see you. You can still go to their friends and be like, hey, I'm worried about this person. I'm worried about this person. Please keep an eye on them. Like, I am still on their side, even if I fucked up. And that's what she does. She says, I failed.
Okay. If the plan is not an attempt to manipulate Rand, I will agree with you.
And it might be, and I that's why I'm saying we don't have all the information here.
Al Gage, thank you for that. Cadsuane should have gone to the Dagobah system. Failed, she has. You know what? Honestly, that's a good point. Cadsuane would be more interesting if she had someone she could talk to.
Well, and I was hoping that we'd get more with Sulin. Yeah. That was on screen.
Soralia.
I'm sorry. Soralia.
You are just you have your own headcanon of what is going on in this book today.
Yeah, I know.
Massima's showing up, Cadsuane and Sulin are having like girl talk. Like...
I know. Honestly, give me more of Sulin. Bring Sulin back. But yeah, I was really hoping Cadsuane and Soralia would be more on the same page on screen and we would get to see more of that, which we did a little bit with the Cimaraj interrogation thing kind of for a moment.
That's true.
But their relationship, I'm actually like super interested in and I want more. I want more of that.
I agree.
We'll see.
I wish that Soralia held her to task here a little bit harder. Because I find by years, but you can't have Toe for the fault of another bullshit here.
I
think what you're like, there is no shame in failure when that failure was the fault of another. I think that is a child's way of looking at failure. And Bayer really lets down Cadsuane here by letting her feed off the fire.
And I think that's tough because to me, when I read that, it felt like they were talking specifically about the Adam. And so I was like, well, it's true. It was a failure on Cadsuane's part, but wasn't necessarily her fault.
But that's the problem, is that that's not why she got exiled.
I mean,
do you know what I mean? Like it's the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
But the camel's back was near breaking because of Cadsuane's actions.
Yeah.
And Bayer, this like bastion of intelligence here, gives her an out to not realize that it is all of her disrespecting and treatment of Rand that led to the point where the Adam was the breaking point.
Yeah.
Because if Cadsuane and Rand had a half-decent relationship and a Forsaken broke her box, she'd be like, dude, I'm doing my best against the Forsaken here. Like, what do you want from me?
Yeah.
But there was so the sliver of trust between them was so thin because of her actions.
100%.
And Bayer gives her an out in this, and that is the line that made me the most frustrated of this whole chapter. Because
that's fair.
I wanted the wise ones to be like, yeah, you did this, and because sorely it kind of does, right? But Bayer gives her the out that is really disappointing to me.
Yeah.
And that I thought the wise ones were mature enough to not do.
Yeah, I read it as like talking about a specific thing, but yeah.
So let's move on to the other half of this. Wait, where are we? Oh, we're in, that was 30. No, 30's Gawyn. Did we jump around?
I think maybe we jumped to Cadsuane too early. Oopsie doopsie.
Sorry, let's go back to chapter 30. That was chapter 31. Wasn't that fun? Wasn't that a great conversation, y'all? I do love when people are like, guys, you guys need to move on. And I'm like, I'm having a great conversation. I don't know. It's tough to move on when we're actually talking about something.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, when people just want us to agree all the time on everything, I'm just kind of like, well, that's kind of boring. It's kind of fun when like we have very different takes or interpretations of the material.
Well, and we argue so little that when we do argue, I actually do enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, because we never really fight about like life stuff. We did a little bit yesterday. We had a little bit of an argument in the car yesterday, but which stood out to me only because I was like, we never do this.
This is so weird. I know.
I also, my favorite thing about the way that we argue though is we kind of like hit a point where we're like, all right, that's over. And then we just both, like yesterday I was like, so what are we watching when we get home? And it ended the argument.
Well, yeah, because it's like we're two different humans. We're never going to always be 100% on the same page, right?
I don't know. That was an interesting conversation to me. Glenn Pearson, thank you for that super chat. Rand is a little insane at the moment. It's pretty hard to show him respect you're talking about. He's not particularly easy to predict. That's bullshit. I'm sorry, but Glenn, I'm going to call you out. That's bullshit.
I definitely don't agree that you can't show him respect. You
can absolutely respect someone and not call them boy after Semiraj has attacked them and made them choke out their own girlfriend. You can definitely show your friend respect after they've been attacked by the Dark One while they were in the middle of a heroin moment with the true power.
I actually think
your point there is actually very harmful, an idea, and I think that you should reflect on it.
I think that Rand actually was perfectly justified in his reaction of what happened in that moment. I think the consequences for Cadsuane in that moment. Definitely justified. That doesn't feel like Rand being crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate the super chat, but I think that just because someone is having a hard time does not mean that they deserve less respect. And I think that kind of thinking is what leads so many people to say things like that about homeless people, right? The unhoused who are like, oh, well, we can't help them there because no, fuck that. They still deserve respect. Everyone deserves human decency.
Yeah.
And
Cadsuane doesn't treat anyone else like a human a lot of the time, except kind of Soralia, in these moments. But yeah. I agree with you there. So we're back with Gawyn.
Yeah.
And Gawyn is like, hey, we need to go fucking rescue Egwene, and Elaine is like,
no, we're not gonna do that. She doesn't want us to.
Yeah, it's really too bad. Oh, I'll think about it. Yeah. I'm going to interrogate you about all of Andor's fruit orchards now. I was like, what the fuck?
What do you mean?
What?
What the fuck? Of course Lelaine wants to... this made the most sense to me. This was great. I thought this scene was fucking,
it was just one of those things where I was like, there's fucking bigger issues here.
Not to the Aes Sedai. That's their whole problem, right? This is the whole problem with them, is
True.
They want to manipulate everyone down to the minutia.
Yeah.
Because they're manipulative.
Yeah, that's fair. Any information is something that the Aes Sedai can then use to their advantage. I was just kind of like, oh my god, poor fucking Gawyn. Like, so
yeah,
he gives some information and then goes and meets Gareth again.
Yeah, I like this taxes scene, and I like that we were in Gawyn's head for it. Because I feel like it really pointed out, like, Gawyn is really, like, trained to be an Andor and isn't trained for much else.
Yeah, and I think that is kind of a fault of maybe Gareth and Morghese.
Yeah, he is, but
you want to throw it out there.
Yeah, he's clearly built for it. My question is, why is Lelaine so up on the taxation rates of Andor? Why does she have time to know all this shit? She's pulling out very specific examples, and I'm like, God damn. Lelaine must have come into that meeting with fucking, like, documents, because she's pulling some shit out of her ass that I'm like, why do you know that? What about the taxation of the cherries in the Northeast? What the fuck are we talking about?
They are the spy Aes Sedai.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, she just, like, pulls out a notepad and is like, so.
I'm not gonna lie, I was reading this, and I was like, You know nothing's growing, right? Like, there are no crops.
There's no fruit in the fruit orchards.
I don't know that there's going to be much taxes because, like, grass isn't growing, let alone cherry fields.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, so I wanted Gawyn to be like, I think that she's going to probably lower taxes given the climate of the fact that no one can grow anything.
Yeah, probably.
I kind of wanted that scene, but it's fine. What we got was Gawyn's internal monologue, which is really interesting because he goes to see Gareth and is like, we got to go do the thing. And Gareth's like, no, we're not doing the thing.
We're not doing the thing.
I'm sorry.
Tell me all the secrets of the younglings. And Gawyn's like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I, like, have some care for these people.
I respect the fuck out of him here.
Yeah.
Until it gets people killed. And then you're like, oh, fuck.
And that's when it sucks, right? Yeah. Like, yeah. But, like, yeah, Gawyn just handing them over for Egwene, I think would have been kind of cheap.
Well, and in Gawyn's defense, there is a world where this all ends before the big fight between the younglings and Gareth Ryan's army happens, and then there's no problem, right? Because the younglings just get folded in.
Yep.
Because if Egwene becomes the Amyrlin seat, she's the Amyrlin seat. Like, it's done.
Yeah.
Now, will that happen? Doubt it. But I'm starting to think more and more that Egwene does not end the series as the Amyrlin seat. If anything, like, I think she just retires.
The one thing that I
think Egwene's tired.
The one thing that I kind of hate about this is Gawyn is like, I'm going to rescue Egwene and I'm going to take her away from here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the fuck you are?
What do you mean?
Like, he believes he's literally, like, a knight in shining armor and she's going to go with him wherever he wants to.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you're in for a rude awakening.
To be fair, Gawyn is under the impression that she's going to have her head cut off. This is a situation where the crime that
she's just taking away all of Egwene's agency. Oh yeah, she's gonna want to come with me. Mm-hmm.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Except in this, sorry, my ear. Sorry, I just get like random little tinnitus. Yeah. Getting old sucks. Years of in-ears in musical theater. Does damage. Gawyn isn't in a position where he's trying to take her away from something that he understands. He's shown up to these women, the Salad Barbarians, have forced her to commit a crime that she's going to be executed for. He's trying to take her away from the hanging block. I don't think I don't think he's trying to take away her agency here. She's in prison. She doesn't have agency and she's about to be murdered in his eyes.
Yeah,
It isn't quite.
But also Gareth is like, what makes you think she's going to want to leave with you? And Gawyn's like, she will.
Oh, I agree with you, but we have so much knowledge that Gawyn doesn't have in this scene.
He just seems like very white knighty, and I agree. That's why, like I said, I actually relate to Gawyn in a lot of ways. But like this moment just had me cringing a little because he just assumes he's going to ride in, save the day without a full understanding of the situation, and that Egwene is going to do whatever he wants to do because she saved her.
But he has enough information to know because he was raised and he knows Aleida, he has more information than I think you're giving him credit for, where he knows that the crime she is currently in captivity for carries a death sentence.
Oh, and he knows that, like, the Salad Barbarians manipulated her into that situation. Yes. Like, and that's what I understand why he feels that way. It just feels very, like, I don't give a shit what Egwene wants. I'm carrying her away from here.
The tough thing for me about Gawyn here is that Gawyn is the one person who's looking at this rationally because Aleida isn't doing what she is supposed to be doing with Egwene. Aleida is supposed to have killed Egwene. And so because she hasn't killed Egwene, this situation is weird because Gawyn is right. She is supposed to be murdered or executed for the crime that she's committed, and she just isn't being, because Aleida has decided that she's a novice and she can't be held at fault. But Gawyn can't know that Aleida has decided that she can't be held at fault. So Gawyn is trying to save her from an execution that should come but isn't.
Yeah, but he thinks she is going to die and is trying to save her from death. But he's also not listening to the people around him who are like, maybe she doesn't want to go with you, maybe she doesn't want to be rescued.
But their reasoning doesn't make any sense because they don't have the knowledge. The problem is that he's like, they're going to kill Egwene. Yeah, but they don't know why Aleida hasn't killed Egwene yet either. Egwene doesn't know why Aleida hasn't killed Egwene yet either, right?
And Egwene has told them.
And so
100%.
I think that I think that Gawyn is in a really tough position here because he is working with an understanding of the world that is different for reasons that nobody really understands.
Totally. And that's why it's so wishy-washy gray. But I'm just like, in this moment, like, my reaction is like, oh my God, just fucking, like, maybe ask Gawyn what she wants before you're I'm going to force her away. No, I know. And
I think the problem is that
he's just not being open to the idea. He's like, no, I am going to take her away. And I'm like, okay, well, calm down there, buddy.
I think that if he was having the same conversation with Egwene and had the same outcome, I would agree with you that it's white knighty. I think that because it's with Gareth Bryne, I don't really think it is here. I think that
no, he believes truly from the bottom of his heart that he is saving Egwene's life.
And I think that he is looking at these people and going, you're acting insane. Like, why are we acting insane? And because he doesn't. This isn't how the world works.
Yeah.
And it's because Aleida is behaving so erratically.
Yeah.
And everyone is reacting to Aleida's erratic behavior that Gawyn is, and I think that Gawyn and Galad have a little bit of the, like, they're like arrows pointed at a target, right? They don't deviate from their path.
Oh, you mean their upbringing has been like, you have one function in life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so because of that, they see the world the way they understand it. And when the world shifts around them, I think that they both have had a really hard time adapting to that.
It's funny, both of them see the world in absolutes, but Elaine hated it in Galad.
Glenn Peterson, thank you for that super chat. He says, and yet Gawyn won't acknowledge either Egwene's Aes Sedai status or Elaine's status. I think that he would as soon as he met either of them. But he's just hearing rumors, and Gawyn doesn't handle rumors well, clearly, with the Rand and more gay stuff.
Gawyn does, rumors are going to be the fucking downfall of Gawyn, for sure. Like, he can't handle it.
Ildrum says, but he's refusing to listen to people telling him his understanding is wrong because they can't tell him why.
Yeah.
And this is a big thing of being like, nope, that's not how it works. Why? Can't tell you that. Well, then I'm not going to change my worldview because you say so.
Yeah.
Like, you have, like, and part of the problems with Wheel of Time for communication is that so many characters don't understand the whys of why anything is happening, that everyone is having a hard time changing their point of view because they can't see why. It's the same thing with that long conversation we just had about Cadsuane, where because Cadsuane doesn't see why she failed, she only sees herself as having failed. She is not changing her methods and moving forward.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing here. Because Lelaine and Gareth can't tell Gawyn why the situation is different.
Yeah.
Gawyn is struggling to change his point of view because why is so important.
Honestly, somebody should fucking travel Gawyn to Elaine in Andor.
1,000%.
Like, this, it would help so fucking much. And there's enough Aes Sedai that can travel, right? Like, not everybody can.
Because Gawyn would be like, no, I need to be here for Elaine. And Gareth can be like, I can have you there and back in 2 hours.
2 hours. Literally.
Just go say hi, right?
Yeah. Go say hi. Maybe you should stay with Elaine. Maybe there's a situation where that I definitely think that Gawyn needs to go have a conversation with Elaine.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a feeling that's not gonna happen.
The best part of this chapter, absolutely, is the end of it when Gareth Bryan reveals the conversation about Gareth Bryan revealing that even he really questioned allegiances during the IO War.
Yeah,
Gareth Bryan is peak character. Peak character, love him.
Fantastic. Yeah. And this is also, we already touched on this, we don't need to get back into it, but the conversation where Gareth is like, you need to make choices.
Mm-hmm.
You do not have the luxury of being a foot soldier.
Yeah.
You have to be better than that. You have to use your fucking brain. And like that whole conversation was fantastic, really well written.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just tough. This chapter was tough because like I see what you're saying about agency, but also from Gawyn's perspective, it's like she's gonna die.
Like, yeah.
It's not like he's like trying to change her choice.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, no, they're gonna cut her head off.
Yeah.
Like what are we talking about? Agency? They're gonna cut her head off. I would rather give her the option to live the rest of her life and come up with agency later, and maybe I ignore her agency for a moment, as opposed to her dying and then a corpse doesn't have agency.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe you have a will, but like a corpse doesn't have any agency. And so from Gawyn's perspective, he's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And I get it. I don't think he's right. I get it. And I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
But I have the benefit of knowing what's going. I have the benefit of knowing that Gawyn is crushing Aleida.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so it's tough because like if we didn't see anything that was going on in the White Tower and they were like, we're gonna kill Gawyn, and he did, like, yeah, go fucking save the girl. It's only because I know what's going on in the White Tower that I know that that's wrong. But like, Gawyn doesn't know that. Gawyn only knows that she's being held for a crime that isn't her fault.
Yeah.
That carries a death sentence. That's all the information he has. And nobody can tell him that those things aren't true. They can just tell him, but don't worry about it, because reasons.
Yep.
Fuck that. Fuck reasons. What are reasons? Tell me the reasons. This is 31. Promise Loose Theron. We already talked through Cadsuane. Unless you guys, chat, do you want us to go through the Cadsuane conversation again? We can. We can go through the Cats. Does anyone want that?
No, nobody wants that.
Can we make a poll in chat on whether we want to go over the Cadsuane stuff again?
You would have to no, fuck off.
I'm kidding.
No, Cadsuane goes to her inn, which is too nice because it's some rich fuck who retired and
doesn't take money. He just gives alcohol. This place
to her.
No, she's like he doesn't take money from anybody.
No, otherwise he would be broke.
He's so rich.
No, he's not giving shit away for free. That inn would be packed at all hours of the day.
And this is what I was saying.
No, it's only Cadsuane who gets it for free. No.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, no. No, there's no fucking way that this guy is like, yeah, I run an inn that doesn't make money, and it's a fucking charity. Like, there's absolutely no way. I'm gonna hold to that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, she hands over coins, and he's like, no, don't worry about that. But like, there are other people in the inn.
Mm-hmm.
I love that he doesn't even hire, like, serving people to help him out. He's like, no, but then I wouldn't be able to do it myself. I'm like, oh my fucking God, this guy. He also wears, like, silk.
No, this is, perhaps that was why his common room was often empty. An innkeeper who had no regard for money was a strange beast. Many of the common men would find Quillian as discomforting as the immaculate floor and tasteful decorations.
Yeah, but that's not saying he gives everything away for free.
But it's saying that everything's super cheap. His place should be packed. This is the kind of place I want to fucking drink. You have good wine, and it's cheaper than it should be? Let's fucking go, dude. You and I are going to be best friends.
But it's too clean. Hey, wipe your fucking shoes off before you come through the door. I love that. I love that he did it. And this dude was like, shit, okay.
There's a bar in New York where you're not allowed to wear your shoes inside. And I love it. It's gorgeous. It's very expensive, though. So
I mean, fair. I could get that.
Yeah. Well, because in the winter, like...
I don't understand people who wear their shoes in their house.
Well, and that's very common in Japan, and I loved it.
But don't
because you sit on the floor, so...
That they wear their shoes in their house and then sit on the floor?
No. In Japan, in restaurant, like public places, you'll take your shoes off because you sit on the floor.
You were saying that people in their homes wear their shoes and they sit on the
floor.
No.
No one wears their shoes in a house.
Yeah, no.
The one tricky thing that we had when we were in Japan is our dressing rooms, you weren't allowed to wear your shoes in your dressing room. So you would have to like take your shoes off when you got into your dressing room and then go on. Yeah, it was very weird.
Huh.
Yeah, it was strange.
Even your show shoes?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be annoying.
You wouldn't wear your shoes on the mats. Yeah. So we cut to Rand. Rand watches Cadsuane scuttle along the docks.
Yeah.
And is like, I'm not gonna kill her. But she's like, there's no way he noticed me. He fucking noticed you. You're not subtle fucking at all, Cadsuane. It looks like the grain distribution is going all right because people are scared of the Aiel, but the problem is people won't go get the grain because they're scared of the Aiel. But whatever. They'll get hungry enough, Rand thinks, and he's probably right.
Probably. Yeah. So the Shanshan don't want to meet in this one place for a meeting because it's neutral, and so Rand is like, all right, Falma.
Let's take them to their greatest defeat on this side of the ocean.
The ever-victorious army, you say?
I was like, Rand, you really want to goat them? And they take it, which I thought was weird. But, like, this is where Rand crushed them.
I mean, I don't know. It is in their territory. Like, they've secured Falma hand over foot. Like, they're fine now. But, yeah, it is that, like, moment where I'm like, oh, that's kind of rude. Yeah. No, I thought that was very funny. I feel like they do agree to it.
It's like Canadians being like, oh, yeah, America, we'll have the meeting at the White House. Remember when we burned that down?
Oopsie. Twice.
Truly.
Sorry about it. Not sorry.
Sorry about it. Not sorry.
Yeah, and Rand asks about Lan. And Nynaeve is like, yeah, he's actually in Saldai. He's gonna go fight. Go fight the Blight. And Rand is like, oh, maybe I can use that to my advantage.
His death will be valuable to me.
I was like, what the fuck? And Nynaeve is like, what the fuck? You guys are friends. Like, he, like, adopted you as a son almost. Like, in a lot of ways. And Rand is like, yes, very useful. And I was like, you fuck. Cold. He's fucking cold.
Yeah, but the thing that I dig about it is that Brandon said, like, this is one of the few times where, like, the book told me that Rand had a huge change of position and then showed it to me the next time we see him. Because, like, there's a lot of times earlier where Rand is like, I'm so mad. Min, let's go have sex. And this is the first time where Rand is, like, has, like, a devastating situation with the Forsaken. And the next time we see him, he does feel very different. Yeah. And I feel like Brandon Sanderson has written the character growth of Rand through this book more distinctly than I think it was previously written. I think it's harder to see. I think Rand's character growth in previous books is a little bit more of a mishmash. And there's some times where he's, like, really sad. And then in the next scene, he's just, like, back to fucking Min. And the one I really think about is after the Kalendor moment with the Sanshin. And then he gets back to Kyrian and is like, Min, I missed you. And I was like,
yeah,
he should be pretty devastated at the moment, and he's not.
Yeah.
I thought that Rand, the writing backs up the devastation that Rand felt in the scene with Semrush.
Oh, 1,000%, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I see you in there. The arrogant worms. Nice reference. Thank you for that.
What?
The song.
Oh yeah.
And the White House burn, 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 and we're the ones that did it.
Yeah.
It's a good song. It's a good time. Great time, even.
Colonel Sanders says, over 200 years ago, what have you done since? Still not lost a war.
Hey.
Bring it.
God damn it. For transparency, we actually don't give a shit.
Oh no, I think it's hilarious that, like, America has lost Canada and Mexico are the only people America's lost a war against.
Yeah.
Well, it's just one of those weird facts. And now we're like the allies were too closely tied as countries. Like Canada, the United States, and Mexico could not go to war now.
Oh my God, no!
It would be so fucking disastrous for everybody.
It's also why the history books are, like, skewed for a little more I don't know, harmony, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. So yeah, Rand is like, well, let's go meet with Mila.
Huh?
I don't know what her fucking name is. Melisire. Melisare?
Oh, Melisare?
We gotta go tell Melisare that Mayshawn Dubarris is dead. And he's like, yo, Melisare, you're a member of the Merchant Corps, so you're pretty safe, but did the king send you a messenger? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, where's that messenger? She's like, I don't fucking know. I don't keep track of that. And he's like, you sure about that? And she's like, no, I do actually keep track of that. He died yesterday. I'm sorry about it. he died of starvation, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, there was a moment, like, so when Rand gets to the city, she's like, you're gonna get me that messenger. And she's like, fuck. Yeah, sure, okay. Turns out he's dead.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
But he died, like,
that coming?
the day before Rand arrived.
Yeah. Yeah. Convenient? I think not.
But I'm sure it won't come back. It won't come back in the reading this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. That won't be relevant for the rest of the week. Don't worry about it. It's
don't
not a plot
even
point.
worry about it. Definitely not going to be a payoff.
So Rand sends her to the same dungeon that messenger was locked up in, because it's a great way to get people to do what you want. We get kind of the conversation of the week, I think, which is Nynaeve being like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? And Rand is like, what do you want me to do? You want me to be sad about everybody? And Nynaeve says, like, this is gonna kill you. And Rand is like, yes. What the where the fuck do you think this is going? Olivia's gonna kill me in Shadar in Shaial Ghul in like the next few months. Yeah, it's gonna kill. Like, Rand is literally just looking Nynaeve in the eyes and being like, "Oh, you've caught up? Yeah, that's where we're at." This
was the part that got me.
It is the centerpiece of this book. I think it is the turning point of the franchise.
This conversation like got me a little misty eyed.
Yeah,
it's like, oh fuck. Rand is so fucked. And like I hope that he's not. Like I want there to be a way for Rand to, I don't know, be human again, only human again.
Human again.
But like
to be human again.
I feel yeah.
Yeah. This was it. This is what is so important.
No wait. This is the moment where he like bursts. Wait, is this the conversation? No. Wait, I think the conversation is I think that conversation is later.
Oh, is that after?
After she brings him the information. Sorry, so we'll get to that. It was not in this chapter. It was in the later chapter. It's just so good a moment that we wanted to get there immediately.
That's my bad.
No, that's fine. I'm
not going to lie. I finished the reading at 3 o'clock in the morning, and so it all kind of, the last few chapters blend together in my brain pretty hard.
And also, they are, for the most part, interrelated, despite the jumping around. So I think that's fair. But
this is where Rand gets mad at her and is like, fuck off, don't pull a Cat Swain.
Yeah, pretty much. And Nynaeve is like, well, okay, I don't want to be Cat Swain. I want to show Rand that I can help him. Who's the one person that he kind of maybe trusted? Moiraine. What did Moiraine do? And she like literally like fucking Sherlock Holmes is it out in her brain. Like I could see the fucking like bubbles. It was great.
The bubbles of good. Nynaeve, the Dark One brings bubbles of evil, and Nynaeve brings bubbles of good.
Yeah, and she was like, I have to do something to earn Rand's trust. Mm-hmm. It's not just enough that I'm there and that we grew up together. I have to show him that I am on his side. And I think that like not interrogating that person first, like bringing it straight to him, and like being there for the information reveal is the perfect way to go about it. So,
and the fact that she's capable of things no one else is capable of.
And I also love that this scene did not go the way that I thought it was going to go, even though it was a win for Nynaeve.
Oh, it definitely went the way I thought it was going to go.
I didn't anticipate them getting the like candle maker dude, chandelier, whatever. I'd never seen that word before.
Mm-hmm.
Chandelier is not a word that I'm familiar with. But yeah, it did not go the way that I thought it would go, but it worked out. She like gets a bunch of soldiers.
Yeah.
She's like, who's not on duty? Great, you're coming with me. Go get that person. The head of the house always knows what's up.
This poor old lady.
Turns out she does. She wakes up in the middle of the night and is like, I can show you where that is. Yeah, sure, let's go.
I do love though that she's like in a robe and she's like, what do you want me to do?
I also love that
Nynaeve can I put clothes on, please?
Can I put clothes on? Nynaeve is like, I'm Aes Sedai and I can't lie to you, which is technically
not true.
But makes for a really interesting dynamic between the two of them. Very fun. And she's like, I don't think you're guilty of anything. I'm not here to like hound on you. I need you to help me out here. They go, they find the prison, they find the like personal jailer, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what like the profession exactly is called, but it's a guy who interrogates. He's like, but he's not a white cloak questioner.
I don't think
he's like a torturer.
Yeah, so
I thought questioners were just specifically to white cloaks. Anyways,
maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So they find Militaire, who's in just the most horrendous conditions after one day. which is kind of
how quickly
weird.
into this section were you like, hey, the one power
what
was
do you mean?
Involved?
Involved
like,
in what?
Like they got like he's or the guy's like he died. It was super weird. Like it didn't make any sense. And I was like, oh, it was magic. And Nynaeve was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, it was weird. It didn't make any sense. She's like, but did you fuck up? And I was like, Nynaeve, you're working against the Forsaken here. Maybe consider the fact that this has been infiltrated. And then it's not until it's not until she's like, oh, what the fuck is her name? Miss Millisare. Millisar's been poisoned. Oh my god, it's been infiltrated. I was like, I feel like this should have been the first like thought.
I think that it was more just like, you got to make sure that these people are not lying first. You know, like definitely like the one power is a possibility, but you also got to make sure that these people aren't just trying to save their own asses, right? And which is why she tells them, yeah, fine, I'll fucking let you go, you pieces of shit.
Yeah.
But I need the information.
Craptacular says the correct job is torture doing guy.
Torture doing guy. Thank you for the official.
And Samantha A says Nynaeve equals best girl. Nynaeve is best woman. She doesn't like the word girl.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So find her here. She also sets up the stage really well because those guys are able to capture the guy who runs away. Like all the bases are covered. Like Nynaeve is fucking learned from Ebudar and Tenchiko. Like she's on her fucking A game here. Yeah. And she finds out that Millisar has been poisoned by the like apprentice dude. And she's able to save her, luckily. Great. Awesome. And so they take the Chandler? Is that the word?
Yeah, they take Chandler Bing.
They take Chandler Bing back to Rand.
From Parks and Rec. They take him to...
God damn it. How dare you?
They take him to Rand. And Rand is like, why the fuck did you wake me up? Mm-hmm. And Min is in the scene and is basically a cat at this point.
Yeah.
Min keeps curling up on surfaces and falling asleep in these books.
I relate.
And I've realized that, like, Min, if Perrin is part wolf, I think Min might be part cat.
Yeah, I relate so hard.
Min is Tabaxi confirmed.
But yeah,
That's why she wears the tight pants.
Oh.
Yeah, Tabaxi. She likes the feel of it against her rump.
I don't like that word. Chapter 33. I think there's everything that's in that one. Chapter 33 is Rand and Min, obviously.
Conversation with the dragon.
Yep.
Yeah, so Nynaeve is like, Rand is like, oh, he's been compulsed. What you need to do is do it backwards. Good luck. And she's like,
the
what?
Fuck? Okay.
And so for the next hour, Nynaeve uncompulses Curb's brain. And Rand just kind of sits there staring, and Min falls asleep.
Yeah.
And I was like, Min can sleep anywhere. This is such a high anxiety situation. I could not sleep here.
I probably could.
Like, the Dark One's compulsion is being pulled out of a man's brain for the first time in this age. I would be riveted.
Yeah, no, I probably could fall asleep. If I couldn't see what was going on, I'd be like, oh, well. Maybe not on purpose, but I relate.
Fair. No, I don't know. I would be, but you know me. You know how hard it is for me to fall asleep.
Yeah. 1,000%. I
can't fall asleep in the dark by myself when I'm tired. Like. Yeah.
And so Nynaeve does it.
Yeah.
She is able to remove the compulsion, and you know what? It doesn't fucking matter.
And this is sad.
This is
so sad.
Yeah.
But the Chandler Curb, Chandler Bing's brother, from Parks and Recreation, does get to say 2 words before he dies.
Natron's Barrow.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck that means. I've never heard that before.
He meant Matrim.
Matrim.
Yeah.
It's actually Matt Coffin's asshole. Matrim's Barrow.
That's where Grandel's been this whole time.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense.
Ant-Man, and she went up Matt Coffin's ass.
She's just living in his rectum.
Just waiting to explode out, you know, at the right moment.
Well, that is the worst thing you've ever said.
The worst?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Wheel Up Time says you'd sleep soundly too if you're getting that dragon dick. It is cute that you don't think I'm getting dick down by baddragon.com. baddragon.com for all of your getting dick down by the dragon needs.
Not a sponsor, but like would be cool if they should. Yeah,
honestly, they should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this really broke my heart for Curb just because, you know, he
This was awful because we saw the like truly negative consequences of compulsion aside from just them making people do like the removing it. Like she took everything about him that made him who he was
1,000%,
and erased it. I was like, that's fucked.
And like the power of him pushing through to do this one last 2 words, you know. To stick it to her and get his revenge in this tiniest way. Yeah. Like, I respect that so much. And it was heartbreaking to read, but...
It was. And this was the moment that, like, just was so upsetting. Because Nynaeve is like, how can you do this? You should have told me, whatever. And Rand's like, what else do you expect me to do? I have to get the world to the Dark World. I have to get us to the last battle, and I have to die there.
Well, and it gets to this which I screenshotted, because it's one of my favorite lines from this conversation with Nynaeve. Yeah. Which is that Rand says, Rand just nodded. I do trust you, Nynaeve, as much as I trust anyone, more than I trust most. You think you know what is best for me, even against my wishes, but that is something I can accept. The difference between you and Cat Swain is that you actually care about me. She only cares about my place in her plans. She wants me to be a part of the last battle. You want me to live. For that, you have my thanks. Dream on my behalf, Nynaeve. Dream for things I no longer can.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the line that I was like, oh.
Well, and we kind of talked about this conversation a little bit earlier, but like this is the underpinning of, I think, the book, right? Is the Rand has to go as far as he can for everybody else's sake, but it's not for himself. Yeah. And he doesn't have a place in the story after the last battle. Yeah. And he knows that. And it's so heartbreaking. But it really points to the naivete of everyone around him being like, well, no, like, we'll find a way for you to survive. And Rand is like, we need to find a way to win. We can worry about finding me a way to survive after we know that there's a win condition, but we don't even know if we can beat the Dark One. Like, guys, my death is on the table until anything else is on the table. But right now there isn't anything else. Yeah. There's no other version of this. We have one thing that is going to happen, and we all have to be on the team for that. Yeah. And there's a pragmatism in Rand that is really honest here, and you know,
and leaves Nynaeve speechless because she's like, how can I argue with that? Yeah. When the fate of the world is at stake, what the fuck am I supposed to do for one single person?
Yeah. And it's a great conversation. Chapter 34. We're gonna move on because we have to. We're at 2.5 hours. Legends. Just in case this book was starting to get too dark for you. We now get a community theater production.
This
written by Matt fucking...
This was the other Witcher fucking side quest. Because there's literally a Witcher side quest where he has to fucking, like, perform in a play. And I was like, oh my god, Matt went to theater
the quest where you
school.
have to, like, get the lines right? Yeah. That mission is awful.
That mission gave me fucking hives. Because I was like, I don't know my lines. I didn't know I was starting the quest. I didn't know I had to fucking read the script. I've literally had nightmares about that. Yeah. Like, going on stage and not knowing what the fuck the show is. Like, that was literally my worst
I remember your stream of that mission. And it was fucking hilarious because it looked like you were in physical pain.
I absolutely was. I need to get that whole playthrough up on YouTube. But, like, fuck.
Do we have all of it?
Yeah. Okay. Somewhere.
This is my favorite line from this, though. Wait, Matt, Manduin says, I'm to be an apprentice gleeman? I'm not certain my singing voice is suited to fine singing. And Matt replies, you're a new apprentice. Tom knows you don't have any talent, but he took pity on you because your great aunt, with whom you've lived with since your parents died in a tragic oxen stampede, took sick of the clever pox and went crazy. She started feeding you table scraps and treated you like the family hound, Marks, who'd run away when you were just 7.
I was like,
what the fuck am I reading?
I know, I literally felt like I was in theater school, and it's like, okay, well, what's your character's backstory? Well, my family died, and then my aunt died, and I was like, oh my god,
I'm kind of pissed at Brandon Sanderson.
Why?
Because Varen shows up, and we don't get to see this play out. The depths of this production were so fucking insane.
I know.
And I was like, please, for the love of God, go to the town and let me see this fall apart. Because I just wanted the scene where these fucking idiot soldiers come into town and they're like, yes, verily, I am a gleeman who learned the flute from my father who died when he was killed by the Dark One.
Yeah, it's like when you're playing like a D&D game with like new people who just want to spill their entire backstory.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm here. My aunt died. Did you know that my aunt died and I feel this way about it? And you're like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like.
But I'm seeing that there's a lot of people in chat who don't like this, and there are a lot of people in chat who do. And I think that this, whether you like this or not, I think this beat is important because I think the last scene is very, very bleak. And I think that adding some levity here is very smart. I think it also does go a little too far. It's a little too goofy, considering the last thing these characters experienced was
the horror of
Hinderstap.
Hindrance.
And so I think the scene goes a little bit too far in the other direction, but I do welcome the comedy in the follow-up to Rand being like, I'm going to die and you need to accept it. And your husband's probably also going to die and that's going to be good for me. You know what I mean? Like, it is a dark kind of, situation. And I think following that up with a beat of comedy that maybe goes a little bit too far is good for the book as a whole.
Yeah. No, I totally understand why it's there. I understand if it doesn't work for you. Yeah. I do. I just, from my personal lived experience, I thought it was fucking hilarious. And then Varen shows up.
And is like, hey, I can get you to Andor in 2 hours. And Matt's like, great, let's go.
Yeah, I was like, thank fucking God.
Thank God it's over.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
We're no longer on the road again.
Yeah.
Chapter 35, A Halo of Blackness. Which I was like, is this because Tuon's black? And I was like, oh no, it's because of this like patina that people keep seeing around Rand, which I think is the true power maybe, but you're not supposed to see the true power.
Seems like the true power.
But Rand also isn't using the true power, so I don't really know what's going on.
I don't know what that is. I think it's like more metaphorical, yeah. Maybe it's the dark one.
Yeah. We're going to talk more about Varen when we get to whatever is happening. They just kind of like meet her and...
Yeah, I have no idea the fuck Varen... yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
It was good though. I like Varen. Now that we know that she's probably not Black Aja, she's just using compulsion on people.
Yeah.
This chapter, y'all, we've been building up to the conversation between Rand and Tuon, and Rand keeps talking about how important the diplomacy here is. And I'm not gonna lie.
There's no diplomacy happens.
Neither of them even tries.
No.
Rand goes to Falma. And he looks up in the sky and he's like, hey, that's where my life was forever changed when I got this wound that hurts every day. And he rides into the city. Tuon has hundreds of domain there. And Rand brings 6 people because he's like, I'm the fucking Dragon Reborn.
Rand is
I can
probably take like 200 with this thing.
We didn't talk about it, but he has taken to riding around with the access key at all times.
Yeah.
Because... if he's holding the access key and he has that temptation, he's not as tempted by the true power because he's 2 temptations at once, and his ADHD won't let him choose between the 2.
I understand.
It's like you.
I understand. Yeah. I get it. I feel seen. Thank you.
Our life would be better if I took away your agency.
No.
If I was like, you don't have any more options.
No, because here's the problem. You'd be like, we're doing this. And I'll be like, no, we're doing the exact opposite of that because fuck you.
Yeah, but then I could just manipulate you into what I wanted you to do by getting you to do the opposite of what I wanted.
I don't want to hear it.
But like if we had fewer tea options, it would be easier for you to choose what tea you want. We drink a lot of tea in our house. And if Clarice is in the kitchen when we're picking what kind of tea we want to have, it's very hard for her. But if she's upstairs yelling at me, she just says peppermint because she can't see the options in front of her. But as soon as I put the options in front of you, you just stand there and like...
Yeah, I am literally the equivalent of squirrel.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, we have this one, and we have this one, and we have this one. Like, I fucking can't.
Like, our life would just be simpler if I didn't buy options.
But far less exciting, you know?
I think that you think it's exciting because you're not the one watching you stand there for, like, a full 10 minutes not moving.
Just like...
It's like you got unplugged from the wall. And you're just, like, zero... And then later you like turn back on and you're like ready to go again. And I'm like,
I'm back. What'd I miss?
My favorite is when you do it standing over top of me. I'll be like sitting in a chair and Clarice will come over and say one thing to me and I'll respond and she'd be like, okay. And then she just glazes over and like shuts
I usually
down.
Like pick up my phone.
And I'm like working and I'm like looking up at her and she's just standing immediately over me, completely checked out of existence, like unaware that I'm even within 3 inches of her. Mm-hmm. And I will get up and leave the room and she will stay in that spot, just not moving.
You're not wrong. That is
it's a fact.
That is fact.
It's just hilarious. It's one of my favorite things about you.
Sure. Okay.
I find it hilarious when I walk into a room and you are not sitting on any of our comfortable sofas. You are just standing in a random location in the room like a robot that turned off. And it happens, this isn't like once every 6 months. This is like sometimes twice in a day. I will just walk into a room and you will just be like...
It's because I only exist when you're looking at me.
Don't blink. Don't blink.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's very freaky. So Min isn't with him.
No.
Because their relationship is destroyed.
The first time that she's not insisted to go with him.
Do you think they ever figure it out?
I don't know.
I hope so.
I hope so too, but I don't know what you do in that moment, right? Because Rand has resigned himself to die, and like Min, I don't think is going to be able to do anything to convince. Like I don't know. I feel very sad about it.
I feel like foursome will fix it.
That would help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
So then Tuon, we cut to Tuon's point of view. And Tuon is like, Rand is so young. That's crazy. And I'm like, Tuon, you look like a child. Like, even Rand is like, oh my God, that child.
They both are looking at one another being like, oh, wow, they look so young.
And then they have about a 3-minute conversation and Rand leaves.
Yeah. They say, like, all of 50 words to one another.
The negotiations are about as long as the negotiations at the beginning of The Phantom Menace.
Fucking hate you.
Am I wrong?
God.
Rand is like, Matrim Cawthon? She's like, yeah, I do. He's my husband.
And then she's like, he's a scoundrel. And Nynaeve is like, don't you fucking, don't say shit about Matrim Cawthon. I will fuck you up, lady. And
this was
like,
one of those moments where I was like, I don't know that Brandon Sanderson read Robert Jordan's books.
No, here's the thing. Nynaeve is allowed to be an asshole to Matt. No one else is allowed to be an asshole to Matt.
Yeah, but...
Like, she does not like Tuon.
Tuon is not even that rude to Matt.
And
she's just kind of like, he's a scoundrel.
Yeah.
Remember, Tuon married Matt. Like, she's not being that rude.
I think the funniest part
Nynaeve is telling her about her husband.
I think the funniest part about this whole conversation is that Nynaeve had to be forced to apologize and say thank you to Matt. And was, like, on the verge of screaming in that moment of, like, being forced. And then she, in this moment, is like, Matt saved my life. He's the best person in the fucking world. And I was like...
Like,
okay.
It was like Matt is Jesus in this moment. Where, like, because Tuon, it's not even like Tuon was like, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He's like, God, he's a scoundrel. And I think that Tuon probably...
Like, wash your name out of your filthy whore mouth.
I feel like,
I was like, oh, wow.
Tuon also said it from the perspective of, like, and that's why I get turned on by him. Like,
yes.
It wasn't even, like, necessarily, like, a criticism.
Yeah.
And Nynaeve loses her shit.
Yeah, it's very funny. I won't shout, Nynaeve shouted. Yeah, exactly. Good times. What a callback.
What a callback.
Yeah. No, that was my favorite part of the whole scene is when Nynaeve just fucking loses her shit.
Yeah.
She's also wearing a very, like, pretty dress in this scene.
Yeah, blue, which is weird.
Well, I just love that, like, Rand comments on Nynaeve's fashion. And I was like, oh. This is, like, normally we have, like, characters observing other people's fashions, but, like, not thinking anything of it. And Rand is like, wow, it's really interesting that Nynaeve travels around to all these places and she steals their fashion and makes it into something she deems appropriate. I was like, okay.
And this is another instance. We get one of the things that I don't like in a lot of fantasy writing, which is people who understand that they are meeting with someone from another culture, but don't understand why that person from the other culture doesn't understand their culture. And it's something that I don't think exists in real life.
Tuon shows her age here. She feels like she's like 15.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Which I guess, whatever, she's 18.
But there's an element of this where Tuon keeps being like, I can't believe he's interrupting me. Doesn't he know? And I'm like, no, he doesn't know that. And you know that he doesn't know that because you should be an intelligent enough character to understand that.
Especially after your interactions with Setel.
And with Matt.
Yeah.
Who's from the same town as this boy.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things that fantasy writing will try to be like, these cultures are so different that they can't even, like, be in the same room with one another.
Yeah.
And I find that, especially when you're trying to, like, have be like the intelligent diplomatic characters, I find that to be grating at a certain point. And this series has a lot of it.
Yeah.
where I'm like, yeah, no, they know those people aren't from their culture. That's what happens. You go to another person's meeting and you understand that they're not going to behave perfectly with your culture because they're not from your like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I find it a tiresome trope particularly in fantasy novels and in science fiction. Science fiction does the same thing.
Yeah, you go to another planet.
Yeah.
And they do weird things, and you're like, wow, they do some fucking weird things. I'm gonna just think that they're trying to insult me. When it's like, well, how the fuck would you know that? Like.
Yeah, but because of the like, oh my god, they're so different. They don't succeed in this diplomatic conversation in any way. Like nothing productive happens here, and they're going to war.
Yeah, she's like, all right, prepare to attack the White Tower. And I was like, oh, fuck, it's going down.
And honestly, I'm a little disappointed in Rand.
Yeah, Rand made no moves to try and, like, concede. Like,
his only concession was like, oh, you guys can go to war after I'm dead. Like, that was the close thing he made to, like, diplomacy here.
Yeah, and Tuan is like, you have to bow to me. And he's like, well, I guess this isn't going to work. I'm going to give up. I was like, oh, wow, you left real fast. Like, yeah. It definitely undermines your power to, like, argue. But I think that the fate of the world is worth arguing over like this.
I just think that Rand talks up the importance of this.
Does he try to compel her?
No.
Because it felt like he did.
I don't think so at all.
She's like, I must obey, I must obey, I must obey.
I think that was Tavira-ness.
Oh.
But I don't think Rand channeled.
I legitimately was like, oh my god, did Rand just compel her because they talked about compulsion in the earlier chapter with Nynaeve?
I would be very disappointed if that was the case.
It might be.
But also then, no, because if it was, it would have worked. We've never seen anyone use the one power and fail like that, right?
Well, unless he doesn't, he knows how to undo compulsion. Maybe he just doesn't, maybe he's not very good at it. Like, Graendal's, like, really good at compulsion. I don't know, I just was like, I think he might have tried to compel her.
I think he was, like, pushing his Tavira-ness at her and it failed. But I don't think if he used the one power, he would have had to have, like, thrown up. No, he is holding the one power.
He's already holding it, right?
He is holding the one power. No, you're right.
Right?
Yeah. No, he is.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I think he might have tried to compel her.
Officially saying thank you for joining the Nards.
Welcome to the Nerd Table.
Tuan being raised as heir to the Empire, lol, very funny, has made her incapable of understanding that other people might be her equal and have differing opinions. Yeah, but it is such a fantasy sci-fi thing of like the king of this country doesn't understand other people I find tiresome. I think it's used too often.
I think that also because Tuan has spent so much time here with people who have different views than her, I find it less believable. You know, when people immediately get there and start making assumptions, I'm like, okay, I just think, yeah, Tuan had enough time to maybe think that these people don't understand the Sanchin customs. Like, she's like, you guys were supposed to be here and wait for the return for us so that we could all march together. And I'm like, the fuck? How did you expect these people? You had no contact with them.
Yeah. I think for me, I think it's one of those things where it's overused in this series. And so I find it tiring.
Yeah.
I like, everybody is like, oh, you don't understand Aiel customs. Oh, you don't understand Seafolk customs. Oh, you don't understand Kyrian customs. Oh, and like, because it is brought up with every single culture the same way. Yeah. I don't find enough variety in the way that it's been used.
Yeah.
And that's just my feeling on it. I don't think it's necessarily like bad. It's one of those things that like so many novels try and do that. And I think it undermines the intelligence of the character they're talking about rather than building the intelligence of the character that they're talking about.
Glenn Peterson, thank you for that super chat. I think this is a scene where Rand is trying to intentionally invoke his Tavira-ness. I think that a lot of people interpret it that way. Because he was already holding the power, and because compulsion was literally such a huge factor in their previous scene, I thought that he might have tried to compel her. And maybe we find out for sure one way or the other, but I don't know. This scene gave me like weird vibes.
Yeah, it definitely did. And now Galligan has been instructed to attack the White Tower. So that's definitely happening in this book, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think, unless
the next book is called Towers of Midnight.
It's called Towers of Midnight, so maybe.
But there's like 500 more pages.
Good
What
question.
is it? What happens in this book? You know, can I look? Let's talk about something. We're at the end. That's the end. We got there.
Well, we
Rand
did
leaves.
miss the Ludra's dragons. She's like,
yeah,
I
Rand...
need all access to all copper and all tin that exists in the world. And I was like, wow, that's a big ask.
Yeah. It's not, though.
Those things are going to be fucking devastating.
Look, if Perrin can find 5 tons of fork root...
True. You know what?
They're going to be fine.
True, yeah.
I don't think Aludra understands how much Rand will be able to provide for her. I want to talk about something about this book that I'm feeling a little put out by.
Okay.
I'm loving the book.
Okay.
What is it about? Like, what is the Gathering Storm about? Like, if you had to nail down what this book is about right now, what would you say it's about? Obviously, it's the Gathering Storm. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
But, you know what I think is making me feel this way? Is that we're bouncing around so much now that, like, where the slog felt like these long sections where nothing was happening, this book feels like a bunch of things are happening in a bunch of different places. And I would really love for this to kind of congeal a little bit.
Fair.
Because every time I think that this week, more so than the previous 2 weeks of this book, every time I was like invested in a storyline, we moved.
We switched. Yes, I did feel that.
And then sometimes we would move back to the thing that was interesting earlier in the middle of a chapter about something else.
Yeah.
And I think I'm feeling that a little bit here, where it feels like this book is so burdened by getting this series back on track.
Yeah.
That this book is faltering in a couple of little ways. I'm still enjoying it, and I think the action of this section was really good. I think Matt in Hinderstap was like one of my favorite horror moments of the series.
Yeah.
I think the conversation between Rand and Nynaeve is one of my favorite like emotional, like thematic moments of the series.
Yeah.
And I think there's incredible things happening. But I felt the POV jumping a lot this week.
That is fair. I definitely noticed it as well. There was a moment where I was like, no, in my reading.
You did? Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it fucking jumped POV. And I was like, God fucking damn it. I get that. I totally get that. And I think that it is something that made me stop reading Game of Thrones. And I am hopeful that I don't start feeling it as a negative. Right now, I'm very invested in like most of the storylines and everybody. Like, I'm like, I want to know what's happening with everybody, but I definitely would like a couple less threads.
Yeah.
For sure. I think that's totally fair.
Like, as interesting as I found the Shamaran stuff, I didn't need it.
Well, I think having a way to sneak into the tower is very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't need. I didn't need another plot line. I thought Gawyn was going to
find out about it.
Well, me too. I think he will.
Yeah.
I didn't need another plot line to do that, though. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of. I think that's just kind of where I'm at. Is I think that some of these plots need to end. And Matt's plot with Varen ends, right? Now they have to go do the Tower of Genji stuff, which is them breaking off again. But like,
is Varen the third? Did you think they take to the tower to get Moraine?
Ooh, I would like that.
That would be cool.
Varen would be a good third. Stephanie Quintella, thank you so much for joining the Nargs. Although there is a lot of POV changes as things happens, it is okay. I feel. I think it's okay. This week I just felt it a little bit more than previous ones.
Yeah.
Robin So's.
Welcome back to the
Thank you for
Nerd
joining the
Table.
Nargs. I know all the side quests are a little frustrating, but the payoff over the next 2.5 books was well worth it. Patience will be paid dividends. I'm not impatient. I am enjoying this book. I think Gathering Storm is very, 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 very good, and I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah.
I just felt the bouncing around a little bit more this week because, and maybe it is the comedy of that Matt beat after the depth of the Rand beat.
Yeah. There's a lot more opposites. What's the word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that part of the problem is that Matt and I think that everyone else feels like they're lagging behind Rand. And because Rand is the A plot and everything else is lagging behind, I think that that's where my feelings are coming from.
That's fair. Yeah, I think that the timeline differences are that's also a little funky. I'm also glad that like they keep bringing up Moraine in this book because you know she's gonna come back.
Yeah. Hey, and this is a very mild criticism in a week that I otherwise liked a lot. Like we talked a lot about the Cat Swain stuff. I think it's very well written and it's very true to her character. I don't like her character very much as a person, but I like her character to read. I think she's an interesting part of the story now that she's not, with Rand. because I found her very repetitive. But like this week ended the Aviendha thing. This week actually ended a lot of things. And maybe that's why I'm feeling it, is there were a lot of miniature climaxes that weren't very climactic in this week. There was a lot of plot lines that just kind of naturally fizzled to their end this week.
Yeah.
In a way that I think that the things that were set up this week were more interesting than the things that happened this week. Except for the Rand stuff, which was more interesting, but had kind of an anticlimactic moment with Tuon, where I wish there was a little bit more meat on the bone in the scene between the two of them. Yeah, I wish they both tried a little harder.
Yeah.
It ended with these two characters who both come to this meeting agreeing that the meeting is very important, not putting in the effort that I thought that meeting was worth.
Yeah, and then it's 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's fair.
But I'm loving Gathering Storm. I honestly, I really think this book is quite fantastic. It's riveting. I'm always invested in the chapters.
Yeah.
And I love the way Brandon Sanderson writes the action.
Yeah. We've got a lot of chapter reactions this week.
Yeah, and 39, 40, and 41.
Not a lot of reading. Like, I think we're only reading 3 chapters.
Wait, really?
So, something like that.
Well, we're reading 36. We're only reading 36, 37, 38. And then we're reacting to half of the reading this week.
I know. You guys are getting spoiled.
Oh,
Make sure you say thank you.
Yes, if you've been gifted a membership, thank the person who gifted it.
If you've been gifted a membership, but also there are a couple people who have commissioned extra reactions.
Oh, yeah. It was Arzu and
Nisa.
Nisa. Yes. And Arzu and Nisa commissioned these ones. I couldn't remember who commissioned the previous one.
Yeah. We'll probably honestly get on that. Like,
pretty quick,
yeah. So that we can make sure that we have time for the reactions.
But not today, because I'm going to be streaming Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, let's go.
It's over 2.5 hours of listening. That's good to know.
We'll probably take a break.
Oh, we'll probably do it over 3 days. Right? We'll probably do 1 chapter a day. We could do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I don't know. I'd honestly rather do it in the day and have a continuous story. We just take breaks in between if possible, but we'll see if we can work it into the schedule that way.
All right. Jeremiah, thank you for joining the Nargs. Appreciate that. Jeremiah's like, I'm not missing those audiobook reactions. I'm going to be live. Yes. I'll probably be live at 4, y'all. I'll probably take 2 hours to chill.
He'll probably be on sooner because he really wants to play the game.
But I want food. And Arzu, thank you for 5 gifted membos. That's Appreciate that.
Arzu, thank you so much.
Arzu, you're the best. Clarice, do you want to do high low?
Let's do it. Yeah. Sorry today was a little unhinged, but we had some good chats. I feel really good about today's book club.
I think that we're going to get some comments from people who didn't enjoy this book club as much. And I think that this is one of the more fun book clubs I've had for me personally. I think the Cat Swing conversation, as much as we pushed each other in it, that was one of my favorite conversations I think we've had on the book club.
Yeah.
I like it when we don't have the same perspective.
Me too. I think it's interesting. We're all fucking human beings, and I think that having conversations that don't devolve in a way that are informative. You're I don't understand how you can see it this way, and I'm like, that's fair. I'm not mad at you about it, but I think that having those discussions about art is what makes art so interesting, especially to a variety of people. That's
especially when your opinions on Gawyn are so wrong. This is High Low.
Rude.
Asta, thank you for joining the Nargs. Welcome in
the nerd table.
This is the section where we commiserate over our lows, celebrate each other's highs, because this is what my family did when I was a kid, and my parents made their 3rd marriage work. So I think it finally worked. 3rd time was the charm. My mom was gonna hate me for that joke.
Wow.
I just find it very funny that both of my mom and my dad it worked on their 3rd marriage.
Well, your mom...
I guess my mom's only technically been married twice.
Yeah, but she was engaged, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't. This is so dumb. Clarisse starts with her high. I do my low, she does her low, I do my high, because we compliment sandwich this book.
Mm-hmm.
Clarisse, what was your high for these chapters?
I feel very conflicted. I have 2 major highs.
Mm-hmm. Cat Swain, just because she's your favorite character.
No, stop that. I don't like it. So I think I'm going to go with the one that made me a little teary.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be that conversation with Nynaeve and Rand, where, Rand is you think I'm blind and, I don't see where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to die. There's no way out for me. And, Nynaeve is just, stunned. She doesn't know what to do. right? Because there's no easy fix, there's no easy answer. Like, that moment, like, was really moving for me and depressing, which is weird because it was my high. I just think it was so well done.
Yeah,
and very well deserved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, I think that's super duper chat.
Super chat.
This was a great book club, y'all. Thank you. I recently rewatched your Eye of the World eps. Would love to see you react to them after A Memory of Light. We are going to be reacting to them leading up to season 2. So depending on when season 2 comes out, we are going to be rewatching the.
We're not reacting to our own book club.
I thought he was talking about season 1.
Oh, season 1. Yeah, the show we're doing. The book clubs, I don't know.
Somebody has apparently put together a spreadsheet of important moments, and I think we might do like a reaction to some of the clips of the original book clubs.
Yeah.
Like someone has like a predictions thing, so we'll like watch our old predictions and see how right or wrong we were.
Yeah.
Apparently there's an Excel spreadsheet somewhere with timestamps, so we'll just like go to those timestamps.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, thank you, whoever has done that.
Yeah, I can't. Someone has that. I don't know who it is, but whoever did that, thank you. You're a wildly cool person.
Yeah, that's really amazing.
What's
your low?
My low. That's tough. Because even like this week is tough because even though I don't like the Cat Swain chapter, I get it, and like I don't think it's poorly written. Right? I just don't like that she doesn't seem to be learning the lesson that I think that she needs to learn in order to be the person she wants to be. So maybe that. I find it frustrating. Also, just Gawyn just beating up those people and it working out. I thought that scene was just kind of... I thought it was kind of silly in a way I didn't quite like.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I think my low was that this final chapter felt kind of flat for me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They were just like, no. Okay, bye.
Rand did not give it the weight that he kept saying it deserved.
Yeah.
He's the one who keeps repeating how important it is, and then I felt like he just kind of like he gave up.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your high?
That's really tough. I'm going to go with Hinderstap. I really like the writing of that action sequence to me was... It's the only chapter I read twice this week because I had to reread the fighting.
Fair.
It's the moment where I was like, oh, Brandon Sanderson writes really cool combat. And like the idea of it being so dark that the only way that he could recognize Durlin was the form that he was using. Everything about that to me was it was really cool. It was one of those moments where I was like, I don't think I've read a scene like this ever before. And I liked that, you know?
Fair.
Yeah, fantasy can be tough. Fantasy is one of those genres where like everything in fantasy has been in something else, right?
Yeah.
There's so many tropes in fantasy, and it's hard for things to feel truly new. And there's a few times in the Wheel of Time where Robert Jordan pulled that off. And Hinderstap was the first time in the Wheel of Time where I felt like Brandon Sanderson wrote a fully new concept into a fantasy novel.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
That didn't feel like derivative of something else, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
And someone who's read more fantasy than I do will be like, well, but it's very similar. I'm saying like to me, right?
Yeah.
I can only talk about it from my perspective, and I just the whole setup of Hinderstap and the way he wrote the way he wrote Matt's luck, not so much, but the way he wrote the greed and how it influenced them to break their own rules, like everything about that, I was really moved by it, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
Yeah. No, I liked this one a lot. I feel like we argued a lot about this week, not because there was anything to dislike.
Yeah.
But the writing brought up a lot of things to talk about.
Totally.
Which 100%. Is what I would rather argue about, right? Like you liking something and me not liking something is very different than me thinking that this character is failing and you think that they're succeeding, and why we might both be right and both be wrong.
Yeah.
Like this week had a lot of interesting conversations, but I really liked the reading.
Yeah, me too.
I do think like this. I think that this week is very important in that those plot lines that ended, particularly Aviendha doing nonsense. It had a great ending.
Yeah.
No, fuck. I take back my high. As much as I like Hinderstap, by the line.
That was my other high.
Yeah.
That was my other high.
You have to know what you're putting someone through when you call him Datsang.
Yep.
Obviously, that's paraphrase. That's got to be my high. I don't know why I didn't think of that immediately.
No, I think that's fair. The Hinderstap stuff is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
There's so many highs in this, but like there's so much stuff. It's really fucking cool.
Yeah, no, The Purge plus Groundhog Day is Hinderstap. That's very funny.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that the magic system of Hinderstap works within the Wheel of Time, but whatever, who cares? It was cool. Yeah. Oh, Karen Taverin says, read the start next chapter title. Do you want to read it? You know what it is, right?
The death of Tuon.
Do you know why it's called the death of Tuon? No. Do you want to make a prediction for me? Why is it called the death of Tuon?
Okay, well, I don't think Tuon is actually gonna fucking die here. I think it's because she's now the Empress, so she fucking is gonna get a new goddamn name or something stupid.
Yeah, and she's gonna get a new birthday. And now she's gonna be 1 year old.
A new birthday! She's 1 year old.
And Matt's gonna be like, yeah, my wife is 1 year old. Don't worry about it. It's not actually weird. It just sounds weird.
It just sounds weird. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
If you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. If we sound weird, hit the dislike button. Leave me comments down below because Algorithm God is hungry and we must feed her. This episode, that Algorithm Goddess is...
Aviendha, going to Ruidian.
Let's go, but she's keeping her clothes on, unfortunately. What? Sorry, what was that?
Nothing. Didn't say anything.
Do you want to run naked into the desert?
No, I'm so pale.
You probably will at some point, though.
I'm so pale.
When we'll go to Nevada and shoot in the desert.
For a photo shoot, actually, yeah. We'll probably do Daenerys nude there. That'll be fun.
If you want to follow us on the internet, you can. I'm at nerdynightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and we will read whatever you write on this channel. No one's done that in a while, so we haven't read one in a while. But if you want to change that, if you want us to read some dumb shit, do it.
Go for it.
Yeah, there is a book club next week. I fixed the schedule. So sorry about that. We're reading till the end of 41. I don't know how I messed up the schedule, but we will be doing till the end of 41.
We're also reacting to chapter 39, 40, and 41. So if you are a member or a patron, you'll get to see those. That's going to be bonkers.
Come back in a couple hours for my first playthrough of Tears of the Kingdom, a game Clarice will probably never pick up. So I don't have to worry about spoiling you on it.
Probably not. Yeah. No, I'm good.
Honestly, I don't know that you could. Like, the story it's a sequel, so like...
Yeah, I died. Although people played Jedi Survivor without playing Fallen Order, so...
What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why?
Well, this game came out and they were like, oh, there is a previous one, so yeah.
They'll have to go back and play it because the first one's great.
Yeah.
That's all the end stuff. Should we do Smut Corner?
Smut Corner.
This is a tough week to add smut into, but the one I want to add first is Sora Lee and Cat's are definitely pillow friends, right?
I hope so.
Those two are like made for each other.
Yeah, they deserve some stress relief, 100%. I also was like really hoping that like, you know, Aviendha doesn't want to like shame Rand or whatever, but like she doesn't give a fuck about Min. I think they should like fool around, get to know one another, so that when the foursome happens, they're like all on the same page.
Yeah.
But Aviendha is too busy with her pruny finger. So.
But why is her finger wet, Clarus?
That's a very good
question. Why is the finger wet?
Yeah. Why is the rum gone?
Oh my god.
Why is the rum gone?
I'm not even sure where else to add a sex scene into this week. One of these weeks I should think about it before I get here.
Well,
I never think about Smut Corner until we get to Smut Corner.
It's just weird, right? Because like Rand is like not in a good place. So like
Rand and Min are not fucking.
No.
For the first time in years, they are not fucking.
Years, yeah. I think like Tom is getting ready to get Moiraine back, you know?
Oh, Tom
He's building up his endurance.
Tom is jacking off constantly to make sure that his stamina's there.
Yeah. 1,000%.
Wheel of Time, using your gifted memes for this, the Nerdy Nightly Hinderstap orgy. Oh!
We take out the violence. It's actually, they don't like all kill each other. Instead, they just fuck all night.
We should make a porn parody of Hinderstap. We should do a whole series of Wheel of Time porn parodies.
Yeah?
Yeah, like Rand goes to Ruidian.
Oh my god.
Rockin' in Ruidian.
Fuck off.
We'll work with woodrocket.com to put out our porn parodies of the Wheel of Time.
Christ. Is this going to be like the Glee ones? Where they're just like so fucking cringe?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Right. Love it.
Big booty bitches make the rockin' world go around.
We'll do the prequel with Moiraine and Swan.
If you have never watched the Glee porn parody, go on YouTube and search for it. The scenes without all of the sex are there. Because I'm not gonna lie, it's not a great porno, but the scenes are 1,000% worth watching. The songs.
You heard it here, folks.
The song parodies that they do, and it's porn stars like doing song parodies. It's one of the funniest. I really recommend.
What are you doing? Stop, bro.
What are you doing? Stop, bro. Thank you, Michael Kiske, for chat. So I was in Chattanooga, Tennessee, on our first night of teching Elf the musical, a very wholesome family musical. And the like our boss's boss from Networks, the touring company, came down to visit us and gifted us all of this apple pie moonshine. And so we got hammered with our boss's boss.
and like watched porn parody scenes, not the porn, just the scenes on YouTube until like 3 o'clock in the morning, because there's a bunch of musical ones. There's Wizard of Oz porn parody musical scenes that are fucking hilarious on YouTube. There's the Glee one. There's a 1970s porno, Alice in Wonderland, that has fully choreographed and like costumed musical sequences, and I highly recommend them. I highly recommend them. There's an Iron Man porn parody that has like full-on CGI scenes that are terrible and hilarious.
What?
Yeah. If you need a laugh and you are down to like do edibles, I highly recommend getting high and just watching like the terrible acting in porn parody scenes.
People go all out for this shit.
Dude, it is. That night in Chattanooga.
Chat is like dead because everyone's taking notes.
That night in Chattanooga is one of my most vivid memories for like one of the most fun nights I've ever had in my life. We had a blast, and we were like with this man who could fire all of us, and we're like, we'll just watch pornos, like it's fine.
Yeah, that's not weird.
Oh, it was so funny.
God damn it. Well,
I think there's one in Glee that's like, oh, you're gonna make me come tonight. Oh.
Wow.
I think it's, oh, you're gonna glaze those pale white thighs.
What?
Oh, you're gonna make me come tonight. Yeah. It's something like that. It's so funny.
Oh,
it's like so funny. Definitely recommend the Glee porn parody. If you want a good laugh. And that's the end of our show. Thank you for being here. This is not sponsored by baddragon.com, but clearly it should be.
Should be.
Baddragon.com. Their dildos are expensive, but they will destroy your asshole.
Apparently.
We're going to get limited monetization on this video again.
Probably. The birthday stream got limited by YouTube. Oopsie.
Do something nerdy tonight.
Bye.
Thank you to our mods, as always.
Yeah, you guys are the best.